This is Rowena Dooley asking Soul Citizens to report for duty. Rowena Dooley asking Soul Citizens to report for duty.
Bump. Hey, welcome to Soul Voices. I am Griffin Gaming RPG, and we are back. It's been a little while since I've been here. I think 2 weeks I've been away. I did a little traveling, went out of town with the family, went up to Alaska, Seattle, had a great time in Ketchikan and Junio and Skagway and Victoria, British Columbia. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. Sound is okay. Okay, thank you, Pops. I appreciate that. I hope everyone is doing well. It's okay. It says sound is low, then it says sound is okay. I don't know which one it is, guys. Is the sound okay? Thank you, Voodoo. I appreciate that. Oh, I feel good. Thank you. Thank you so much for the sub, Rostistan. Thank you so much for 13 months. I hope the sound is good, guys. It sounds good. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, it's been a nice time to get away with the family and take a break from everything. But alas, all good things must come to an end at some point. And so I'm back. This week, being gone the last couple of weeks, a lot of stuff was happening. Of course, this always happens when you leave town, right? I think, let's see, that's Friday. I think Alien Week kicked off. Well, no, 3.19 kicked out. Alien Week kicked out. The Starfield video came out. There was something else too. But, CitizenCon information came out. And so it was like all these different things were going on. And I'm out, in the water on a cruise ship, trying to relax and have a vacation, but also every once in a while tuned in. Yeah, I know, Kai. That's a whole nother. We won't get into the Titan and Titanic or Russia right now because that's a whole nother thing. Yes, Starship Simulator. I sent you a message about that too. But anyway, to make a long story short, a lot of stuff happened in our community over the past week. And so what I want to do this week, normally, as you guys know, we take information from Spectrum, we take information from Reddit, we take stuff from the gaming industry and talk about them. But I'm going to do something a little bit different this week. I'm going to kind of cover the things that I didn't get a chance to talk about because, first of all, I was gone. But secondly, it's been a week or two and I've had some time to digest some stuff. And so some of the stuff is stuff that we've actually talked about on previous shows while Fastcart was taking care of the ship the past couple of weeks. But I want to come give my little thoughts to it and maybe hear some thoughts from you guys regarding it. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time with the title of the show this week, which is called Learning from Starfield. And while I was away that Sunday, I was trying to watch a little bit of the live stream but I only got to watch bits and pieces, about maybe about 20% of it, maybe 30% of it. No, about 40% of it. And then I came back and I tried to watch a little bit more. And then earlier this week, I got a chance to really sit down and watch it for the second time all the way through. This time digesting, taking a little bit more of what Todd Howard shared in the presentation. And then I got to spend some time listening to some other folks and what their thoughts were in relation to Starfield over the past week. A lot of excitement, a lot of hype, a lot of questions, and some concerns. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that toward the end of the show. I'm going to do it in format a little bit differently when I get to that, because I'm actually going to watch the video and you guys can watch it with me. And of course, if you want to share something, that'll be great. But I'm going to share you my likes. I think I've got like 10 likes and then 10 dislikes, or they're dislikes, but again, it's called Learning from Starfield. And I want to talk about what is it we're going to learn from this. And I'll give you my predictions about Starfield in the sense of its success and who will like it, who won't like it, that type of thing. So we're going to do that too. But before we go any further, I do want to talk about the new charity fundraiser that we're doing for St. Jude. It's called St. Jude Play Live. And this year, we did St. Jude 2 or 3 years ago, and we're back this year. And even though their campaign sometimes runs during Cancer Awareness Month for children, we've opted, because we were doing some other fundraisers last year and charity fundraisers. This time we want to do one that's much more long-term. Usually we run them for about a month because usually that's what it is a month. But this time we're going to run it. We began this month in June, and we're going to be running it all the way till CitizenCon. It's a pretty ambitious fundraiser that we're doing this time. We're looking to raise $10,000 for St. Jude Children's Hospital. So you got several months: June, July, August, September, October. 5 months. 5 months to raise it. We're almost down to 4 months now. But we know that you guys are going to be able to do it. You guys have helped us raise our targets before, but this time it is a bit more ambitious. So we're giving you a little bit more breathing room. So you don't have to put down that one big chunk. If you want to put down several small chunks, or a chunk every month or every other week, or paydays, whatever. But it's going to a great cause. You guys know St. Jude Children's Hospital really is about taking care of young kids who suffer from all types of cancer, and also allowing for their families to be able to focus in on their child's health, not have to worry about bills, things of that nature. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit later. I'm going to do the presentation when there are more people watching. But I want to thank all of you guys for being here today. I see some very, very cool people here. I see my counterpart, Fast Card, is here. Paseo is here. Kaizen is here. BBG, Big Black Gaming, is here. Cyberwolf, good to see you. Rasta said, I already recognized you earlier. Pops in Space is here. Fist is here with New Soul Sounds. So thank you guys. Those are the names who I see who say, if you want me to recognize you, you got to say hi. MT Stunner, good to see you as well. A lot of good faces out here, or good names at the very least, hanging out with us today. Let's see, is anybody I missed? No, looks like I got everybody. Okay, cool. We're doing all right. Well, it's all right. All right. So let's kick off with when I left. One of the first things that happened, I was anticipating after Invictus. I was actually not, Invictus was cool. I was looking forward to the event, but I was not necessarily looking forward to buying anything. And so, needless to say, I didn't. I did. I bought something, but I held out a little bit. You know, I didn't go crazy. But what I do want to talk about is Alien Week. And Alien Week, I don't know what to say about it. First of all, I love the promo that they did, right? We're going to look at the promo in a second. Well, I'll tell you what, let's look at the promo first, all right? And then I'm going to give you the topic for today. Let's look at it.
Are you tired of the pain of the drudgery of the boring ship? Are you waiting for your lucky day? Well, hello, lucky humans. It's us, your average friendly Banu Suli, specializing in excelling mightily in procuring and selling of many great and amazing ships. So many good ships from alien worlds suitable for humans. Don't go there. We'll bring them to you. Comfy human seat. Not made of human, probably. Humans love breathing. Our ship's full of atmosphere. Great for breathing. Your next great ship is waiting. We have it. It's right here. Come on down. Today, voted friendliest Suli. 3 years subsequent. Davian 4 Commercial Chamber.
So that was a kind of a unique commercial. I gotta give CIG credit, man. Their marketing and stuff. Whoever puts this stuff together, I know they got some great editors and stuff, but this was cool. They even talked about how they had looked forward to doing a commercial like this. So I thought it was very different because I'm like, okay, how are you going to draw us into this whole thing after Invictus and make us interested in alien ships? Some people just aren't interested in them, but I'm interested in them. So, but I do want to say this. This is the question for this thing. Was it a weak alien week? I was disappointed. Okay. I've been following the development of the Suntucky, and I was really hoping earlier that it was going to come out during Alien Week. And then, of course, as we got closer and closer to it, I realized, and they had showed us in ISC that it wasn't there yet. They were dealing with the landing gear issue at one point, redoing that. Then the thing came up about them doing the dashboard. And I was like, okay, they're almost there, right? But I was really hoping for either the Suntucky or something that maybe we hadn't seen. And so, yeah, it kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit, but you know, it is what it is, right? But I want to ask you guys about Alien Week. What were your feelings about it? Did you enjoy it? They did introduce this new Tholo, this I guess it's Banu item. Gave us a little bit about the lore. Of course, after the disappointing news about the Banu Merchantman, for those who own Banu Merchantman, you know, obviously we weren't looking for that to come out. But, you know, what were your feelings about Alien Week? And I guess the other thing I would ask you was, did you feel it was okay? Did you feel it was a little on the weak side? And then I also want to ask you, give me one thing that you would like to see maybe next year from Alien Week. And it could be a ship, it could be something lore related, whatever the case may be. So let me go ahead and kick us off with that. Let me bring in, we got our first person in, that'll be Pops in Space. Let's bring him in. Pops, are you there? Okay, I don't hear him. All right, Pops, I'm going to give you a 3, 2, 1, and if not, I'll put you back in the queue, and if your audio comes up, I'll bring you back down. All right. Okay. Oh, he just popped in as soon as I brought him out. All right, Pops, I'm going to bring Fist in. Well, I'll bring Pops back. Let me bring Pops back. Okay, Pops, I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I agree with you. I was a little bit disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, they did let us know ahead of time that, you know, about the Banu Merchantman troubles and the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
But before I go on that, before I forget, the commercial, I did enjoy the commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all have had a Crazy Eddie out on your end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody's got one of those wild commercials. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, you know, that old Crazy Eddie, hey, come and get your, you know, whatever it is. I did enjoy that. It was a throwback for me because Crazy was about, maybe, you know, in my teens when, used to come around. So I did enjoy that style.
Yeah.
But what I was disappointed by, I wanted more. I wanted a little bit more. I wish they could have gone into maybe some alien tech that they've been working on. But I would have liked to have seen an alien vehicle, which is where my heart was hoping for.
Okay. Some type of alien vehicle. Okay.
Yeah, land vehicle.
Okay, a land vehicle. Okay.
Land vehicle.
All right, Pops. I'll buy that for $1. Thank you, brother.
Okay.
All right. Let me bring in Fist to Face next. Fist, are you there?
Yes. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, I'm doing good. I'm so behind. I am. Okay, because my audio was all jacked up. Apologies, Griff.
Okay.
So yeah, my disappointment. I'm gonna speak from my disappointment about Alien Week. I kind of been feeling like it lacks, compared to IAE and Invictus. You know, the ships are, don't get me wrong, the ships are great as far as Alien Week, as far as aliens concerned, you know, from the Banu to the Xi'ans to Vandu and all of those stuff. I just wish that they had a more of a convention like the other ones, you know. I know they don't have aliens in the game yet, but I would hope that when they do, that they would have, you know, the same thing that they're doing with Invictus and IAE.
Okay. So you'd like to see like an actual convention even though it's that week, but some type of exhibition hall or something going on that shows off the ships a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like as if you get a commercial like this, and then it's just a ship sale, and that's it.
Okay,
that's it.
So you want to see something in game actually happen?
You know, it kind of feels like it's like that. Like the Alien Week is like the stepchild that's just you know, we really recognize you, but we don't really recognize you,
right?
You know,
right?
And you know, for alien ships to have an alien tax, you know, I would like to see more in terms of that. I mean, the video was great, don't get me wrong, but it's like you know, you got to give me a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, I think the idea of like, and because it is like a week, it's not like a weekend. And in a way, it is the stepchild because, you know, IAE, back in the day, there used to be a lot of different big sales. It was like they used to have an anniversary sale. They had a holiday sale at the end of the year. And then it kind of all started whittling down to, you know, moving from the anniversary sale, because it was usually within a couple of weeks of IAE, to just becoming IAE, right? And IAE is the one that we know they sell everything, mostly everything,
right?
90% across the board, right? And then later on, Invictus popped up, and that was kind of focused on the whole UEE military recruitment kind of thing. Alien Week followed that, but to your point, there's way more definitive lore in the game, even for Invictus and IAE, than there is in Alien Week. Alien Week is kind of like each alien kind of has its own standalone, but they haven't found a way to bring that together in some form. Now, I don't know if they will or not, but to your point, being able to, if you're going to designate that week, because the commercial does build you up to, it's going to be a week of something, and instead it's just a week of chip sales, right?
Right. It's just, you go to the website, there's nothing in game that's a participation for you to do.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, that's I kind of feel that that's where they lack at, because I mean, I'm very excited to find and see how the way they're going to do with aliens going forward with the game. You know, not to take up too much time, but that's how I feel about it. It's just really slighted right now, and I get that. You know, it's not. You know, but
that's cool. All right, good. I think that's a great idea. Let's build out Alien Week like we've done the other annual events. Okay, thanks, Fist.
Right.
All righty.
Yeah, thank you.
All righty, let's bring in Kai Zin, KZ. What's up, Kai?
Hello. How are you doing?
Good,
It's so great to have you back. I'm glad that you had that blessed time with your family and that you had safe travels back.
Appreciate that, brother.
I want to expand on what Fist said, because I think he is 100% right in feeling like the lacklusterness of it is that it doesn't have anything in the verse. I think at the very least, every Alien Week should have an Alien Free Fly, should have an in-game convention center where, hey, look, and this is not a thing that is a hardship on CIG. This will make CIG money. When you say, I want to sell you these ships, and here's where you can go in the verse to see them and walk around them. And you can also, for a day, 2 days, 3 days, rent it for free and fly it out there. People are going to fall in love with the Cartual. People are going to fall in love with stuff. And it's just going to make them more profit. So that's a given at the very least. In addition to that, and I say this with love and respect, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the game. I don't care about ships anymore. I want new game. I want new stuff. So in addition to a sales floor where people can see the ships and play with them and rent them, I also want, they've shown us, CIG has demonstrated clearly they have the talent, they have the skills. Sherry Heiberg and her lore team are top notch. They put out really cool letters in, you know, like for part of Xenothreat, they had letters out there, like the Banu people or whatever, warning their people like, hey man, these racist humans, these mostly hairless monkeys are like, they're trying to kill us, they're whatever. We need to watch out for them crazy humans. They're silly. I think it would be neat if there was some event, something. It doesn't have to be Xenothreat. It can be a letter. It can be something out of game that ties into a video, that ties into some kind of thing in game. I want for Alien Week, I want for big events in the game. Yes, go ahead and sell your ships and make your money, but also give me game, not just sales. Give me, I want there to be a there. I want there to be something to do, some new piece that I learned about these aliens that are on the other side of the Vandal that have them scared, or the Vandal themselves, or it can be a fluff piece. It doesn't have to be whatever. It can just be some neat thing about the culture, the race, the biology, the commerce, the societal structures, something about the aliens themselves, not just always here's some ships.
You got a couple steps ahead of where I was going to suggest at the end. So since you brought it up, I'm going to talk about it because Fist was kind of going there. And even though he talked about the in-game type of aspect that reflects the sale, I was looking for something that they would do that would encourage players who own alien ships to bring them out. Very rare do you see them flying in-game, but we know people buy them, right? And mostly it's because, is there a reason to fly those ships? Now, a lot of people don't fly these ships because, one, many of the ships are supposedly by lore supposed to have certain types of something special about them, right? For example, the Banu Defender, when it first came out, if you remember, they had the tachyon guns in it. It was a devastating gun. I mean, the instantaneous hits on you, right? They pulled that back because they were wiping people out with that thing. What's the things, the Tavaran ships, what do they call it, the Shrike, the Talons, right?
Yeah,
they've got the special shielding that's supposed to go in front of them. The what do you call it? It's called somebody help me out in chat, y'all. The oh god, it's flanks, the phalanx shielding, right? They've got the special shielding that if a group of them are flying, they create this barrier wall in front of them, right? You've got the blades, right? The blade ships are supposed to have these special design blade. But a lot of stuff isn't in as far as game mechanic wise. So I would love for them to figure out something that says, why should I blow the dust off of my scythe and bring it out, right? Maybe there's certain missions if I accomplish it in that ship. Maybe here's something else. Remember CIG was giving out the Banu cubes at events, right?
Yes, sir.
They could create some type of lore item that for that week, during Alien Week, you go out and find this particular lore item and you get a special skin for your whatever alien ship you own. You know, just something, as you mentioned, beyond a ship sale that engages us in some form of community gameplay that has people bring out their ships. And to your point, if it's even that free fly that maybe people never thought about a certain alien ship, but they get to fly it and it's like, hey, this thing's actually pretty cool. So
I've never met a person that flew a Cartual that didn't fall in love.
Yeah, exactly.
That ship is just so cool.
Yeah. And there are a lot of ships out there. It doesn't seem like there are a lot, but there are prowlers. There's all types of things that are out there. There could be a special race for the Nox, right? Because that's technically alien from a POA. So there's things that they could create within the game. So I agree with you, Kai. A lot of stuff that we could do that extends it beyond just the monetary aspect of, buying ships, but how do we integrate that into gameplay? I think it's a great idea, brother.
Also, not for nothing, just as a side, this is something that occurred to me as you were talking. For those long-suffering people who have been waiting for an alien ship, the BMM or what have you, that is just still not around, I think it would be nice for CIG. It doesn't take long, man. Just put a guy or a gal on, make a shirt, make a jacket, make some little knickknack, some little thing, and then say, hey, we're going to have the exposition booth at 2:00 or whatever. It's going to be at these 3 times, and people go. And if you bought a BMM or you bought a this or that or the other, and you're waiting for your thing to come out, you can show up with other like-minded individuals who, whatever, have a little thing where it's like, well, you get your picture taken, whatever, and here's your free T-shirt, here's your free hat, here's your free book bag, here's your free some kind of something that it takes them 2 seconds to knock out, and those people who are waiting year after year have something of a point of pride where they can show in the verse, hey man, I got my whatever. I'm a proud supporter. I mean, people, you see these people walking around Brooklyn where they're wearing like a Ferrari shirt when they're driving a Honda or whatever. Like, I think people would love to walk around wearing their BMM shirt or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. CIG, Kai just gave you guys the idea. I'm going to give you the slogan, BMM Bum. All right, that's what's on the shirt. BMM Bum. That's what you got to do. Okay?
Fast Car gets no respect. No respect.
Thanks,
I love
Kai.
you, brother.
All right,
Talk to you
bro.
later.
It's my buddy, Kai. All right, let me bring MT Stunner in. Stunner, you there?
Hey, Griff, how are you?
Hey, man, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, I love CIG, but I don't know what to think, and it was definitely a weak
Mm.
I love the video they put out,
Mhm.
but like, I don't know. I just don't get it. Like, they know we're going to buy alien ships, obviously, if they offer them up, but they want to make more money, as much money as they can, and they could make so much more money if they just did a few things.
Yeah.
A lot of people came up with a lot of great ideas. My idea that I talked about with a couple of my friends was like, why didn't we see like a couple UEE fleet ships flying around the verse and like going to a place we've never been before, like not touring the cities like they do at Invictus and stuff. So, we as players investigate, we want to see where they're going. Maybe they go out to a point in Stanton to where the jump gate will be in the future, and a bunch of Banu come through with the ships that are in the game because they want to celebrate First Contact Day with us, and it just makes it an event.
Yeah.
The other thing too is that, they always give us those Banu transmission, which is a cool thing. But why don't they, a couple like ISCs or whatever before Alien Week, they say, hey, this year there's going to be 5 alien messages or 5 Banu transmissions for you guys to find in the verse. And if you find them, you translate them. And some of them can have little things in there. It doesn't have to be anything major, like when Squadron 42 is releasing, anything like that. I don't expect that, but but that way it gets people to participate, to like go in the game and look for something. Maybe as a community we only find 4 of the 5, and then like next year they're like, hey, there's 6 messages this year, see how many you guys can find. But like anything. And then the other thing was the Santaki Eye. I mean, it was, that was a neat ISC, and I love seeing the Hull C. Like, that was amazing what they've done with that. But I was really frustrated with the Santoki Eye part, not because it wasn't finished. And I like the fact that they were honest with us about, the fact that it didn't make it past whatever, stage check that they were on. Right. I like the honesty, but the communication about it, which is always the thing with CIG, is communication, was really confusing. Like they said, it was they started off saying we know what it is, it's just the dashboard, it's this little thing. But then they mentioned a few other things that had to be done on it. And actually both those developers they talked to mentioned, one of them several times, that they weren't getting enough support from other teams that they needed to finish it. And that actually really stuck out to me. It was kind of like they almost sounded like they weren't just saying it to say it. They were saying it as in like, hey, we need help to get this done. Yeah, frustration. And I was like, well, why aren't they getting the support that they need? I mean, put the time aside. Who cares? Maybe the Santoki Eye comes out next year, but like, why aren't they getting the support they need to finish it?
Yeah, I think that like events like Alien Week is definitely a missed opportunity from a marketing standpoint, right? Because if you put the Santoki, I mean, like you said, people are going to buy them. So if the Santoki Eye doesn't come out until, let's just say, CitizenCon, right? Okay, that's cool, but boy, it would have made so much more sense to bring it out at Alien Week, right? And so I don't know if it's that whole all hands on deck because of Squadron. Now, I will say this to your point. There is speculation within the community. Hear the word, y'all. Speculation. Please don't quote me, even though I've said it myself. There's a lot of speculation about CIG doing something major at CitizenCon this year. And so maybe that's another fact, because the issue with the BMM, same thing. Maybe there are just factors where resources have been moved around because they're trying to get something special ready for us. We know that they're still trying to target 4.0 for the end of the year, beginning of 2024, right? But maybe there's more that is said that they've had to pull some folks to stuff. We don't know. Unfortunately, I wish we could yank that curtain back sometime and say, what the heck's going on? But to your point, I noted that too. And I do agree. I thought it was great that they did step out and say, which was something we really hadn't heard from them from an internal place, that we missed our mark. We thought we would get it through. It got turned down. We've got to go back to the drawing board and hit this thing the right way. But it was also nice to see that there was a quality control measure there that did not allow for them to push things through if they weren't at a certain place too. So it's kind of a bittersweet thing, you know what I mean? But I agree with you 100% on your thoughts on this. Alien Week, hopefully it will grow into something more. You know, I hate to say this, but it's almost like Illuminati gets a little bit more energy even than Alien Week does. You know what I mean? It's not Illuminati. What's it called?
The Christmas one?
Yeah. You know, that we spend the whole giving out stuff. They could have gave out stuff like that even, you know, but go, like you said, go in a cave and find some brand new artifact or something. Luminalia. Thank you. I'm getting Illuminati, y'all. I'm getting my stuff all mixed up. Sorry about that. I've been in my conspiracy mode the past week. But anyway, yeah, I mean, there are some, and to, I think Kai's point, your point, there are some things that can be done where the economy involved with doing them is not that great. I know it's easy to say that, guys. Oh, it doesn't take much for them to make some little brand new coin or some Tavarin something. But I agree. What the payoff for that Tavarin jacket or that, you know, the Xi'an shoes, whatever it is going to be big to the community, I think, over time. So we'll see where they go with it. We'll see where they go. But thanks.
Yeah, real quick, sure. The other big missed opportunity I thought they had to make money was because of all the news about them not selling Squadron 42 anymore. Alien ships are usually a little bit more on the expensive side with the alien tax. I think they should have offered a couple packs with the game and with Squadron 42. Because I think they would have flew out. Yeah, some people might have flew out for that. Yeah, because people are a little nervous about this whole Squadron 42 thing. Thanks, Griff.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot, Stunner. Always good to talk to you. Alrighty. And last but not least, let's bring in Admiral Kusanagi, and then we're going to move on. Admiral, how are you?
Hey, Griff. How's it going?
Okay.
Quantum 42 is going to be $70. That's my take.
Okay.
I just think, Alien Week was weak. You know, we've got one ship that does cargo and the Raylan, and it's one manufacturer. When you think about the Banu Merchantman, or you got the Banu Defender. We have two ships from that line. Like from the whole race of Banu, we know of like two ships. And if they're like behind on, you know, developing a ship to put out to us, that's fine. But if the goal is to kind of expand the universe while we wait to kind of to figure this stuff out, then they need to have like, you know, light freight. They need to have, you know, stuff that kind of like is that the starting point. Like the Defender originally was supposed to be like, oh, we're going to figure out what the Defender looks like first, and that will make us be able to get into like the line to get us to the BMM. But now they're like, oh, we don't know what to do with the BMM now because we lost a couple of the devs or whatever. And so they need to start slow and bring out the lines. Like, I don't know why we're going from the Defender to the BMM, and it makes no sense at all. So they need to like start getting the developers and the artists and stuff like that to say, hey, we need to flesh out this line before we even get to the BMM. And if it takes 5 years for them to figure out because they put 8 ships before it, that's fine. But they need to like do this like realistically.
Well, I think the problem with that is that you're going to piss off a lot of BMM people who've been waiting since 2015 if you start producing other ships ahead of it, especially since they know the development started on it. People got bent out of shape when they found out that they stalled it. Now you're saying, let's build a whole bunch of other Banu ships before it?
What about the Orion?
What about the Orion?
Look at the Orion. The Orion, they're like, oh, we really don't, you know, we kind of need like a middle ship because, you know, we kind of need to get all like our quote unquote tools in place. So we're going to make a medium freight ship. A medium mining ship that's bigger than the Mole series and in between like the Mole and the Orion. So they can kind of get the tools in place to make the Orion a lot easier. So that's the way I'm looking at it, is they need an in-between ship, and right now they don't have it. Oh, from that perspective. Yeah, if you're going from that perspective, I would agree, but let me say this. My balance on which ship should get released have become more and more about what's practical in the game on a performance gameplay level versus what I've paid for. Because there are some ships I paid for that I'm waiting 9 years for, but they mean nothing in the game. If I got my Orion right now, it would be a waste. There's no place to use it. It's huge. I need at least 5 people to run the thing all the time. I can never do anything in it solo. So for me to get that ship right now means nothing. To a certain degree, I feel the same way about the Banu Merchantman.
because the economics and the gameplay don't support it. It'll be a cool ship to see flying around. But you and I both know when they showed that thing at IAE last year, parked in Pyro, that thing was a capital size ship.
Yeah, that thing was huge.
It's don't get me wrong. I own one. Yeah, it'd be nice to have it.
I have one
it'd be a freaking museum piece at this point, right?
Yeah, it's huge.
I do like your idea of saying, hey, let's flesh out, like you said, let's maybe flesh out some more somewhere between the Defender and the Banu that could be brought in. We don't know what type of ships those could be. It doesn't have to be Banu. We've got Xi'an. We've got all this other stuff, like the Gatak, right? They introduced Gatak into the thing, and we've got just nothing more than a concept for that particular manufacturer. A lot of them, other than Asperia, and even Asperia ships are not true alien ships. They're replicas, right?
They're replicas.
So to build out the alien form, and I know CIG had some commentary about that they didn't want to build out a lot of certain ships yet for player stuff. Now I'm sure they're going to do some stuff on an NPC level, because if we go into those areas of space, we need to see some of their ships. But what we have access to as humans may not be as much as people want. I know Pops mentioned earlier, like he wants to see an alien vehicle. And I guess the question becomes, how does that play out in the lore? Because even with the Banu Merchantman, the lore aspect of even getting that ship is kind of difficult. It's complicated. Now, Xi'an's and them may sell us stuff because of the Gatak. I don't know, again, how much of that can be populated by civilians in the game if they're not replicas. Now, replicas, yeah, that's great. But actually real alien ships, unless Asperia is putting out replicas of them that have been converted for human use, I don't know how much we're going to get true alien ships that we get in the game. So it may be more that Asperia has developed them out more than anything else.
I'll just say that if Gatak is if they're gonna create a line like Gatak, and that's a line that's in the lore,
right?
Then it shouldn't be like what is that? It's at least a medium, if not large freight. Let me look at it. It says medium freight.
It's a medium.
So it doesn't look medium, but they need to have a small, because it would just make sense. And I mean, eventually, good God, they're probably gonna have something to compete against the Hull series.
Yeah.
So the medium to large.
That's a good point.
I just think they should just have, like, they could have easily came out with a small Gatak line and just like a concept, and people would have bought it.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. Some people have talked about, I don't know if Banu lore enough to know if this is feasible, or they're still working out lore, they're still writing stuff. But it would have been cool if they had some type of medium, like you said, like another trade ship, since that's the whole Banu lore thing. But maybe since the Merchantman is kind of like their cap. It gets called in for battle when needed, as well as a big merchant ship. Maybe they could have made what would have been the blockade version of it, a blockade runner version of it, a smaller version that allows for a cargo as well. I think you're right. That would have been kind of a nice thing to still be able to do. And then they could still focus on the BMM later, which would have been I'm sure it would have pacified a lot of people to get something.
I'm just a little disappointed with the fidget spinner they created. And even when they released the note from the Banu, they were like, because of the backers, people like Jade and the people she deals with, they were trying to translate the thing, and they were like, and then SIG had to like redo the translation because they were missing words. It's just like, and they had to create words or whatever. So
yeah. Good point.
Yeah, it's just disappointing.
Okay, all right, Admiral. Thank you very much. Okay, Admiral Kusanagi. All righty, gang. We're going to move on here because we still got to do this whole Starfield thing, and I only have about 20 minutes for this next subject. So thank you, guys. That was really great stuff you guys shared. Let's hit this next one here. Here we go. I'm going to go back to last week's show with Fast Cart, and the title of that show was, Should You Go to CitizenCon? Okay, and it was a really great show. Nighthawk Zale was on with him. We had Geo Get Money, Sub for Geo was on with them. They reflected on previous Citizen Cons, talked about, all the cool stuff and everything. But I'm going to cover it from a different perspective because I've been, over the last week, as I said, I've been listening to what people have been having to say in the community. And there's been like I'm going to Citizen Con. And there's been like no, I'm not going to Citizen Con. So for some people, it's like just the whole going to LA is a thing, right? But for some people, it's like, I can't afford it, right? And so the question is, can you afford going to CitizenCon? Okay. So let's talk about this a little bit. I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about what it's costing me to go to CitizenCon. Okay. I'm going to try to be transparent. Okay. I live in the Midwest. I live in Chicago. And for me to fly to LA and fly back would probably cost me around $400, maybe somewhere between $400 and $500 round trip, unless I catch a deal, which could happen, right? Maybe I can get it for $300 to $400. But whatever the case may be, it's going to be around $400. Okay. That's going to be the go there. Now, LA, as you guys know, is a fairly expensive city in the US to stay in. It is not one of the lowest places. Just like Chicago isn't necessarily, just like New York isn't, but New York and LA are expensive more than Chicago. Okay. And so my hotel that I'm staying at, I booked it for 2 nights. I'm staying Friday night and Saturday night, 2 nights. I might do a third night because they've added a second day now. I may not because of the cost, but it's costing me with taxes for me to stay there 2 days, about $800. Okay. Now I will say this. It's costing me $800 because I got a junior suite, because if any of my compadres from Soul Citizens come and I'm only a block and a half away from the venue, if they want to come hang out at my place afterward, we talk, have fun, or if anybody else I meet wants to just come out and have drinks and come sit, that's why I got it, right? It costs a little bit more to have it, but to get a small 1 bedroom in LA, I didn't want to do that. If I have 3 or 4 people come by, I don't want to do that. So the other thing is, well, there's some other things too, but that's what I bought, about $800. So now we're at $800 plus $400. So we're at $1,200 just to go to CitizenCon. All right. And then there's food, all that other stuff, right? So we could probably add another $200 on food if we're being economical. 100, maybe 100. Okay, I'm not gonna be that greedy. Let's say $100 if I eat fast food. $150, $200 if I'm eating, going out with people, having some drinks, going to the bar, Citizen, blah 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 blah. Okay, so now we've moved from $1,200 to $1,400, right, to go. I said $300 to eat. Yeah, if you're eating well, yeah, you can do that for $300. Pay for everybody. Shout Cyberwolf. Okay, so we're at about $1,400 at this point now. So now we get to the point where we're dealing with the tickets to go to the event, right? And as you guys know, the tickets are $199 and $299, rounded out, right? $200 and $300. And if I decide that I want the $300 ticket, which I do, because I want to be able to go to the all the events and I want to be able to go to the exclusive after party, now we've moved from $1,400 to $1,700, right? Okay, we have not included the Uber trip, which I guarantee is going to be another $100 both ways, going back and forth to the airports. Now we're at $1,800. We haven't included tips for luggage, all the other weird stuff like that, and any incidentals, right? If I decide to buy something, maybe there's some souvenirs, whatever it is. So we're at $2,000 to go to Los Angeles for 3 days. Okay, that's to go for 3 days. We're at $2,000. All right. Then you get robbed outside the convention center because they canceled the cops. Get out of here, date your hobo. All right. So we're at $2,000. Now, the question is it worth going? Is it worth going? Now, I'm going to speak from my perspective. My perspective is this. It's a good night stay in Chicago, you're right. I've been following this game since 2013, right? And been engaged in it. It's been 10 years I've been engaged in this game. I have gone to 2 CitizenCons. I went in 2016 and I went in 2018. I went to VerseCon in 2017 and 2018 or 19 or 18, whatever it was. I went to VerseCon 2019, whatever. I went to two VerseCons. And each time I've gone to those trips, and I will tell you that every time I've gone, I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. It has been the one thing that I have looked forward to. Now, mind you, in 2016, I retired. Okay. And when I retired, I told myself I'm at a point now in life where I could do the things that I want to do. My kids were still in college. One of them is still in college now, but they were in college, but yet and still I found a way to be able to go to the event. And after I went in 2016, which was considered one of the worst years for a CitizenCon, not because the event didn't go well or because it wasn't a lot of fun, but it was the year that we were going to hopefully see the vertical slice and hear about Squadron 42. And a lot of people went out to Los Angeles with great anticipation, and we found out that they didn't show us the vertical slice, and people were disappointed. But even with that, I thoroughly enjoyed it because, as I mentioned this before, and I know Fast Cart advocates for this too, 50% of it is the convention, but the other 50% of it for me is meeting you, meeting the people that I talk to daily. I had only been in the game for 3 years in 2016, and I really enjoyed it. And since then, I've come to know even more people. I've gotten a chance to talk with developers, get to meet all types of folks, right? And so for me to go to this event, it's the one thing that I treat myself to, that I did, you know, my wife can come or invite my family, but they don't care about this. That I go have your Fundraiser convention. I look forward to going to this event, okay? So for me, is it worth it? Can I afford it? I have to save for it. I don't have just money laying around. In fact, this year, you know what I didn't talk about was I'm not even flying to the event. I'm actually taking Amtrak. I'm doing that because I wanted to see the country. I wanted to do something a little bit different. So, and remember I mentioned about the airfare being $400? Well, that's not my price. My Amtrak train is $900 to go. Okay. So tack another $500 onto that $400 that I mentioned earlier. So now I'm at $2,500 for me to go to the trip. And it gets worse. I got to fly back because it's only one way for $900. So now add another $400 for me to fly, or $350 roughly to fly back. So I'm almost nearly at $3,000 to go to CitizenCon. Okay. Yes. A lot of money. Geo Get Money is going to go on a trade with me too, by the way. We're going together. So we're going to be shooting video and stuff and telling you guys about it. Yeah, for Amtrak, it includes your food and drinks and everything, but it's expensive. It's $900. But mind you, 33 stops. I'm going to get to stop in Nevada, the Rocky Mountains, all types of cool stuff. It's like a 2.5-day trip. Get to see the country from a different way. I've never had a train trip like that. I'm doing it because I'm at that point now in life where I want to do something different. Okay. So I'm at $3,000. So, okay. I've given you my inside thing. I'm almost at $3,000 for going to CitizenCon. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a video, and then I want you guys to come in and talk with me a little bit about this when I show it to you. Okay. So check this out. This is from 2019, and it's the one community video that CIG put out. And I think you'll see why people are so dedicated to this.
Let's go! We did it! These are the type of moments I want to be a part of in Star Citizen, coming together as a group and completing a task that feels just truly epic.
Star Citizen is an opportunity to explore, to connect with people.
Making the impossible possible.
I am dropping faster.
I'm gonna catch you.
It's passion, it's creativity, relationships, friends.
Friends that become family.
Friends who fly spaceships. It is amazing the quality of people that are involved in this project.
It is that human connection that you're doing with other players, interacting with them. I think that it's special. You go out on adventures and do crazy stuff with other people that maybe you wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
VIP is secure.
I have had so much fun in game and out.
Momenti memorabili in gioco, ce ne sono stati tantissimi.
That I will remember 10 years from now playing this.
Mon premier pas sur Démarre, mon premier pas sur Hearthstone.
Beating out most of QA and Pirate Storm when they thought I was just a lowly office manager.
We realized after 2 hours that we had spent a long time shopping for clothing.
I tend to blow up my org mates, not on purpose.
Heidi, ich habe meinen Ehemann in die Luft gesprengt.
It was totally worth it.
You have angered the swarm.
Undergunned and being chased by a horde of Arlington goons. And as we jump out of the Retaliator, we look back and the ship explodes.
Stayed out there, opened up chat and said, help, I've just lost myself in the LA asteroid belt.
People stop what they're doing and they help a stranded player.
Right. Oh my god, I'm in your ship!
Where else does that happen?
Completing the jump a third time at the 2018 CitizenCon. I think you even see me sort of cringe up because it was so loud.
And everyone was so excited and still hyped by the event. Everybody started dancing and we had a fantastic dance party with the backers, with the community.
Ich habe sogar meine heutige Lebensgefährtin auf einem Star Citizen Event kennengelernt.
Logramos llevar una camiseta de nuestra organización, poder regalársela a Chris Roberts.
I have to say that the community constantly surprises me. Combination of meeting the friends, playing together, but also sort of sharing a dream together and sharing ideas and thoughts, and the energy and the excitement of it's brilliant. And because of their contributions, it becomes better than I imagined it. That's when I go, wow, okay, that is awesome.
For a lot of people in the community, this isn't just a game.
It's a very big part of my life.
Changed my life meeting so many other space nerds.
Oh, it means so much.
I made so many meaningful connections with people who I otherwise probably never would have met.
Transcends languages, locations, areas. You got people all over the globe.
You're a part of something so much larger than yourself.
Where not only the fans are friends, but the developers are as well.
And there's so much enthusiasm and positivity brought by the fans.
Who is so selfless with their time and is always willing to help out new players and give back, just coming from a genuine love of the game.
And I'm proud to be part of it.
Penso sempre a tutto il lavoro che c'è dietro.
I'm a part of the process.
There's something really nice about having that connection.
It gives me a lot of energy to do the best job that I can.
All these people are just rooting for you to succeed.
These people that have entrusted you to execute, on their dream.
The dream is a reality.
Building a universe isn't necessarily it's not a small thing to take on. Some people would say perhaps you should start smaller, but we didn't. So there you go.
Thank you to all you guys, because you guys make all of this possible.
Incredibly thankful and grateful. We definitely could not be where we are without the community, which is amazing. And for me, it is the best community in gaming.
Happy birthday, Star Citizen.
Happy birthday.
Feliz cumpleaños. Happy birthday.
Bon cumpleaños. Best and biggest gaming project out there in the world.
生日快乐，星际公民。You don't look a day over 6 years old.
See you in the verse.
I've made a lot of friends gaming through the years, but it really pales in comparison to the sheer number of friendships I've enjoyed as a Star Citizen backer, and for that, I feel truly blessed. So, happy birthday, Star Citizen.
Some of you guys may remember the last person that was there was Wickstrom, Captain Wickstrom. He passed away just a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And they gave a nice little tribute to him there. But, what you saw there it pales in comparison to when you go to the convention. So this question about can you afford to go to CitizenCon, I'm going to ask myself, can I afford it? For me, it's can I afford not to go? I really, anytime it's here in the States, and even I want to try to go to Manchester one year. If I didn't go, I would really feel weird now because I've been. And it takes a lot to do it. It's a lot of money. People have talked about the ticket prices and whatnot. And let me talk about the ticket prices a little bit because Fastcart covered this a little bit the other day. Ticket prices for the premium ticket last time was around $130. Now, I know people say, wow, why does it cost so much money now? Well, several reasons, but I'm going to show it. I'm going to give it to you in a way so that you know that it doesn't cost as much money as you think. That year when it was $130, we received a goodie bag. It had several items in it. You know what? Hold on. I think I got it. Hold on a second. I actually pulled it the other day and forgot about it. Yeah. Okay. Now, everything that's in this bag is not what was in the goodie bag, okay? Because they didn't give you a copy of Jump Point. Some of you guys remember Jump Point. If you don't know about that, we'll tell you about it later. That's a mat. This is a mat. Whoa. Didn't mean to hit that. Sorry about that, guys. But they gave you all types of cool things. There was stuff for you to get from vendors that were there. This is like one of those little Aegis squeeze ball things for those of you who have tension while you're waiting on Jump Town. You got lanyards. You got, I don't know, you got this book. Some of you guys may remember this. You got this like souvenir program thing, right? And it had all this stuff. This is when the Kraken came out. It has all this really cool stuff, glossy book and everything. You got that. I think they may have given you some other weird things, USB drive or something. I can't remember. I've got all types of things books here. You got information from the ship manufacturers. They had like actors with the ship manufacturers, and they would give you brochures. They were all in character. This is the premium ticket that you would get for going. Some of you who are, you may be concierge. If you were concierge, you had access to certain parts of the convention at the event. There was a bar, special lounge for you to be able to go to, which was cool. It was kind of away from the crowd. You had a few other friends. You could go in there and hang out, have drinks and stuff. Really, really nice stuff. I don't remember what else they gave you. Oh, there's like pins, all types of stuff that they would give you, right? Now, is that worth the value? Well, for the memories, yes, it is. But let's talk about the pricing. $130 for me to be able to, do all this stuff last time for 1 day. 1 day. So let's assume that if the prices remain the same and you were doing it for 2 days, well, you've gone from 130 to, to 260, right? 260. That's for 2 days of the event. When we went for 130, they had multiple events going on at one time. So let's say that there were 10 sessions, but you could only go to 5 because when one was going on, there was another was going on. And you always had to choose which one you went to. And otherwise, you have to watch on YouTube later on, watch the videos of what happened in the other one, which meant you couldn't be there. You couldn't interact. You couldn't ask questions. You only could do it in the 5 that you went to. The other 5 you couldn't make. Okay. So this time they split it up to 2 days. I'm hoping, this is no insight, guys. I'm just hoping the reason why they went to 2 days is so that you can go to all 5 sessions on one day and all 5 sessions on the second day. That would be so cool for a 2-day event. Okay. Because everybody gets to be together. Everybody gets to hear the same questions, ask questions, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So again, we're at 260 now for 2 days. They've also thrown in an exclusive party. I don't know what that means. Back in the day when we would have Bar Citizen or after the event, the CIG people would hang around and you just hang out with them. I'm assuming that they're going to do something at the venue because they're paying for it. They'll probably have something there. And then you get to hang out with the people. When they say exclusive, what does that mean? Oh, exclusive means only so many people, probably. I don't know. But maybe we'll get to hang out with Chris and Sandy and all those people like we usually do, but in a different way. Maybe there'll be a panel. I don't know. Maybe there'll be drinks for free. You get 2 drink minimum. I don't know. But at 260, now you've got the exclusive party, which you didn't have before, right? And then let's factor in, this was from 2018, mind you, inflation. So it's 5 years later and you're paying an extra $30, but you're getting the exclusive party. So let's say that's $15, $20 and then another $10. So yeah, you're at $300 now. To me, the math makes sense. Now, is it expensive? Heck yeah. Because $300 ain't no big deal. Some people have used the comparison and said, I could go to California and go to Disney World for the price of a ticket. That is true. For 1 day. You can go to Disney World for 1 day for $150, $180. Yeah. But a 2-day pass is going to cost you the same amount of money, right? And so, yeah, can you do a lot more? Yeah. But again, CitizenCon is a special event. And I believe this year is going to be an even more special event because of what CIG has been lining up. So I'm through talking. That's my pitch. Let me go ahead and bring in a couple folks who want to come in and give me their feedback about CitizenCon. If you've been especially, okay, because if you haven't been, I know you're going to be looking forward to it, but I want you to be able to tell me whether or not you think what I shared is on point. Am I off a bit? Am I being a white knight? Pardon the expression, I could say black knight, but we'll go from there. All right. So let me bring in Pops in space. Okay. Pops, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So you said some, you want to know specifically about something real quick, or just whether or not we agree with you, because I was talking fast car.
What I said was I'm encouraging people who've been to the CitizenCon to come in and tell me whether or not I'm on point because of the experience that they may have had, but you can still share your thought.
Oh, okay. Because this is my first time, so that's the part that I heard, and I was going to back out, and
Oh, go ahead. Share what you're going to say based on what I said.
Okay. Yeah. To me, you are on point, and I'm going to tell you just how much this means to me. My therapist asks me every week now on about, because being prepared to go there.
Mm-hmm.
She's excited. She wants me to bring pictures back to share with her, while I'm, me and my son are there.
Okay.
So it means a lot to me. One of the people in the video said family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it means to me. I'm looking forward to meeting, my brother Fast Card, you, also Citizens people. I'm looking forward to meeting people in Org, Montoya, everybody.
Okay.
To me, this is a chance. It's like a once in a lifetime thing for me.
Okay.
I'm looking, and your prices that you quoted, ours is, well, it's me and my son. So it's right. Our airline tickets are right on point. The only thing I got to do with my airline tickets, pay for my airline tickets through my travel point. So that was really came out to be zero for me.
Yeah.
Airline ticket.
Okay.
But the hotel for me and my son is what I think it's $1,300, almost $1,400.
Yeah.
For the both of us, we have a week off. But yeah.
Okay.
But I'm really looking forward to the people, bro.
Okay.
Really, really looking forward to gaming extended family.
Cool. All right, Pops. We'll be looking forward to seeing you there, brother. All right. Let me bring in Fist to Face next. Fist, you there? By the way, anybody wants to come in, click on the link. You can come in, share your thoughts about CitizenCon, what I was talking about. Can you afford to go? Fist, you there?
Yes. Like Pops, as you know, I haven't been there yet, and looking forward to going. Everything that you said is spot on. Again, because mainly, to be honest, I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't go to the convention if it wasn't for meeting or looking forward to meeting the people. Because if the game had I'm to be honest, just kind of throw it out there. If the game had a trash community, then I'm not going. I'm just being honest.
Right.
I don't know what it's like at TennoCon, for Warframe or other games of that nature, but, so far for me, Star Citizen has been, very receptive since the first day that we've come into the community, and everything. So that's what's exciting, again, about going out there. The cost, I kind of already prepared myself that it was going to cost. So I'm not sticker shock as much.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Those flight points help too, a little bit, right?
It did. No, it did. And I had to put in a couple of extra, work, right. I had to do a couple extra projects. But I was like, all right, well, gotta do that too.
Okay.
But so, gotta go.
All right. We're looking forward to seeing you there, brother.
Oh yeah.
All righty. All right. Next up, we've got Fast Cart. Let's bring him in. FC.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
So yes, I just wanted to say I agree with you completely. I cannot afford not to go because I miss hanging out with Star Citizen folk. We had a blast, and not only the CitizenCon, but we also have VerseCon over here in the States, and that's held in Texas. I've been to VerseCon too, but that's a community organizing one. But as far as CitizenCon go, I cannot afford not to go. I was looking forward to it in 2020. They were hyping it up at the Bar Citizen at PAX East in 2020, and they were saying, "Oh, this year's going to be great. Look forward to it." But then, what happened? We didn't have it. But also, I want to say, you talk about the cost of the $200 ticket. Back in the day, we had to pay extra for a citizen, a CID sponsored Bar Citizen, so that's included in the
that's true
in the exclusive after party price.
That's true.
So it used to be like $12, $13, $15 for the for a ticket to go to the CID sponsored Bar Citizen, but we don't have that this year because it's included in the after party. So
that's true.
That's one thing that you
add that to it. You're right.
You have to count that.
That's a good point. Very good point. I forgot about that. Okay. Thank you, FC.
No problem.
Alrighty. And last but not least, Admiral Kusanagi. Admiral, you there?
Hello. So apparently the voice of reason has come out here once again.
What's that?
I'm just joking. It seems like a lot of people are going to CitizenCon this year, and that's really, it's really great for the community. Personally, I'm going on vacation to Cape Cod and thinking,
nice.
I got to put that in my funding. I have to say, hey, it's going to cost me, between $2,000 and $3,000 already.
Yeah.
I turn around and throw down another $3,000 or $4,000 and
absolutely
over. And then of course it's my birthday in November and I have to buy my something special. So I don't know. So,
no. Listen, I want to say something to that. I want to say something to that point. I think, I know somebody said, Dad Griffin, you're pushing, making them change their mind. I'm not trying to change people's minds. I'm glad Admiral's saying this because there's a practicality also to not going. First of all,
This whole thing's going to be live streamed. So it's not like you're not going to see what's going on. You're not going to be able to interact and see what's happening. And mind you, the context of what I said was, I said, for me, this is something that I'm willing to do now because I've retired. I don't have a lot of the financial obligations and things that some other people have. Some people have young families. Some people are in school. Some people are just because they're trying to work and do some things. Admiral's saying, I've got some plans for my own personal life, for vacation and getting away. Those things take priority over a game, guys. Always priority over a game. Believe me, if I had something else going on, I'd probably be saying, you guys have a great time. I can't go. I just came back from Alaska. Thank God that sucker was scheduled for June, because if it was scheduled for August or something, I may not have been going anywhere in October. I usually do a family trip in December, and that got canceled. So that gave me a little bit more latitude to say I can do CitizenCon. So please, like Admiral, if you've got some stuff that you need to do or you want to do, do it. I'm just wanting to put out a different perspective based on what I've been hearing from the community. Some people are like, yeah, I'm going. Some people are like, no, I can't. And guess what? If you don't go, that money you saved, you can buy a ship with. I'm just kidding. But go ahead, Admiral.
No, but it's true. It's something you want to buy the Idris, and this is the way to buy the Idris. I mean, you're actually saving money by not going to get the Idris.
And this might be a marketing strategy, right, Admiral? I mean, they may price it to such a point where it's like, I'm not going to the thing, but then you're sitting there watching it. They come out with that Anvil Capital ship, right? That people have been waiting on.
For the exclusive people who didn't decide to go to CitizenCon, you can now buy at your desk at home this golden Idris.
Yeah, absolutely.
With white stripes.
Absolutely.
Oh, but it's. I think your explanation here is something. It was desperately needed to kind of like. Because the people like were talking about the price of the tickets, I'm like, whoa, you know, the price of the ticket is nothing compared to you're adding like an extra day or two on your schedule. And you know, I think one of the cool things is because you're still going by train, right?
This time I am, yes.
Yeah, and then that's like a huge benefit of actually traveling out that. So you're getting this big, giant, you know, check mark off your bucket list.
Yep.
And doing CitizenCon at the same time. So if people can do that, then I mean that's a win-win right there.
Well, some people do. Some people do actually. A lot of people, when they go out to the CitizenCon, they literally make a 5-day out of it. You know what I mean, or even a 7-day. Fastcart's notorious for doing that. He gets there 2-3 days earlier because it's his birthday week, and so he spends his time there celebrating his birthday where he's at, plus the convention. Other people go there and say, while I'm in LA, I'm going to go to Disney World, or I'm going to go do such and such, such and such. So to make that trip, that's why, to your point, Admiral, I decided to take the train trip because I was like, you know what, just to go to LA for one day and flip back and pay all that money, I want to do something where I'm, you know, seeing the country or doing something else, which normally I did not do. This is the first time I take that back. In Austin, I stayed a couple extra days and I went to CIG. I went to the headquarters. But to your point, it does make sense to include something in there so that the trip is a little bit more valuable and worthwhile for the time.
Now, are you leaving like Sunday night or?
I'm leaving Wednesday. The train ride is a 2-day ride. So I arrived there Friday morning, if I'm not mistaken. Friday afternoon, something like that. But I leave on Wednesday. And 2.5-day trips on the train. Yeah, so I'm going to be shooting stuff on there and talking and, you know, be on there with Gio with his crazy self. So we'll have a good time while we're traveling out.
So everybody needs to, like, you know, keep track of Griffin is.
Yeah, I'll try to. I'll start at train stops. I'll post some stuff while we're heading on the train. The internet is spotty on the train, but there are places where we'll stop where I'll definitely go on the board and do something like that.
Did you get a sleeper train, or
Yes, I got a sleeper. That's why it cost so much money, because if I just gotten a chair and went coach, it would have been less than $200, I think. But if you do that, then you have to buy your food separately and everything, which it adds up. But when you get a what they call a roomette, which is like a 2-person room, but I got it just for myself, all your meals are included, your drinks are included, and all that stuff. So, you know, it's something different. It's a one-time. That's why I didn't do it round trip. Going one way is fine. I can fly back.
Right.
All right, Well, thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Okay, boom. Thank you guys so much for all that cool stuff. Who was that? Tecker 10. Thank you so much for that sub. Appreciate that. Okay, before we jump into the big part here, and I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to having conversations with me on this. Don't forget, you can click on the link if you want to come in and talk. I do want to talk about our charity. I told you guys I was going to go over that a little bit. So I want to show you guys a video. As I mentioned earlier, the barcode that's on the screen is for our fundraising for St. Jude Children's Hospital. We're doing a fundraiser that will culminate CitizenCon weekend on October 22nd. We're looking to raise $10,000 for that. So hopefully you guys will be able to contribute to that over the next few months. But let me take a look at the video, and I'm going to show you our tiers of what we're doing. We've expanded those tiers, in fact, so we'll talk about that in a second.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and YouTube are teaming up to help end childhood cancer.
In September, supporters from across the nation come together during Childhood Cancer Awareness Month to raise money for the kids of St. Jude.
And that's when YouTube gamers will be posting videos and live streaming to raise funds to support the life-saving mission of St. Jude.
At St. Jude, families never receive a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because all a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Money raised also supports the research that leads to groundbreaking medical discoveries that St. Jude freely shares around the globe.
I can only imagine as a parent the relief that they feel when someone like St. Jude steps in.
I think it's a really good lesson for us to realize that we need to do more, and we can do more.
It is a huge step in the right direction, a huge step in helping just people and giving back.
It's all for good, and we have a responsibility, a social responsibility to help out.
Find your favorite video or live stream during St. Jude Play Live on YouTube for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and donate to this amazing cause.
Your support will help St. Jude further its incredible mission.
Finding cures, saving children.
Let's end childhood cancer together.
Alrighty, you guys are simply amazing. I just decided just a second ago to take a look and see where we stood in relation to the St. Jude piece. And you guys have brought us up already. We're at $835. We are almost at our next tier milestone, which is awesome. You guys, thank you. Thank you guys so much for the donations. I know we were at like 7 something, I think, when we started the show, and you guys have pushed us up over $800, which is amazing. So let me go over the tiers real quick. We have already completed our $500 soul gift package that we gave out, which was amazing. We gave that out already. Someone got let's just say that they were supposed to get a soul package of cups and shirts and all this other stuff, but they lived in freaking like Australia. And so the shipping was going to be ridiculous. And they were like, well, just give me something else like a gift card. So they got instead they got a gift card for the equivalent of the value of all the stuff. And they were like, oh my God, I didn't realize this stuff was worth all this. So they were very happy with that. But we're reaching the $1,000 mark. We're only $165 away from that right now. And we're going to give away a Chairman's Club package, which will include a Chairman's Club shirt, the executive polo, the cap, the messenger bag, the journal, and the key ring. So if you're concierge, you can get that stuff. But if you're not concierge, you can't get it. So it'll be some exclusive stuff that you can wear to CitizenCon if you decide to go. Or you can walk around the house and, take selfies of yourself with it or whatever and make people think that you're concierge. But anyway, that's our next tier level that we're going to be going to. After that, we're going to be doing at $2,000. We're going to do a UEE package, which is going to include the Navy field jacket and the Navy cap. We gave both of those away once before, like a year or two ago, and we're going to be doing that again. At the $3,000, if we hit $3,000, we are going to do a 12-hour, nonstop 12-hour stream where we're going to be doing some talking. We're going to do some gameplay. We're going to have some special guests come on, and on that show, we're going to give away a $29.48 and $29.49 digital goodies pack. Some of you guys remember if you went to CitizenCon, they gave those away. Now people are trying to eBay for those things and try and get them. So we're going to be giving those away. We're also going to give away a Sons of the Centauri pack and also a Razor Dual pack. We've had an anonymous giver who reached out to us and said, hey, we want to help you guys raise this money. What can I do to help you? So this is some cool stuff that's been added to the list. Thank you, anonymous person. You said you want to stay anonymous, so we want to say thank you ahead of time. But these are some cool items that we think will be great to give away during that 12-hour stream. Now, because that person gave us that and gave us some other stuff, we were able to move the Banu Merchantman from the $5,000 mark to the $4,000 mark. So now at $4,000, we're going to give away a Banu Merchantman. So yay!
we're getting closer and closer. When we get to $5,000, we're going to give away an Origin 890 jump. At the $7,500 mark, this is the new package that was added. We're going to give away an exploration pack. Now, some of you guys know what that is. There's an exploration pack and there's a mega exploration pack. And you guys know that the exploration pack increased in value. It used to be like $500, something like that. And then it shot up to $600. Then it went to like $1,100. But in that pack, you get the Carrack, which you guys know is already like $600. You get the Terrapin, you get a Dur, you get a Dragonfly, if I'm not mistaken, and you might get a vehicle. I can't remember. But anyway, the exploration pack is $7,500. And last but not least, if we hit the $10,000 mark, we're going to give away an Endeavor Master Set. That's the Endeavor with all the modules included in it, okay? And that will be our final giveaway thing. So hopefully, is a Cyclone. Thank you, Paseo, a Cyclone as well. So anyway, that's where we are. We are almost at that mark now. We're at 885. You guys have already increased us by $50. We're only 115 points away. We're getting closer and closer. I know by today or tomorrow, we'll cross that line probably without any problem. So thank you guys so much for your charity and your giving. Thank you for giving for the kids for St. Jude Children's Hospital. Okay. Now, title of our show, for those of you who weren't here earlier, the title of today's show, as you see on Twitch, is and YouTube, learning from Starfield. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to preclude this because I got to jump into it because I don't want the show to go over. And I'm not going to probably watch all of this video. But I watched the Starfield deep dive video that was done by Bethesda. And I took my time, went through it a couple times, and I made some notes of things. And some of these things are things that I like about it. And then there are some things that I didn't like. Now, when I say didn't like, my didn't like had to do more with the fact of my personal gameplay style. Not that doesn't work for Starfield. They're just things that I wouldn't want to see in the game. And it may seem kind of picky. You guys know I'm an old dinosaur. So some of this newfangled stuff they put in games, like X-ray vision, just ticks me off. But there's some stuff in here that they put in that I'm going to say I don't like. But I'm also titling this Learning from Starfield because I'm hoping that these are things that CIG will look at and say, affirmative, we're doing something like that. Doesn't have to be exactly that, but something like it. Or if it's something I don't like, that they'll say, oh, no, we won't put that in the game. Not that they're listening to me. I'm just saying I hope they don't put these things into Star Citizen because for me, it would ruin the experience. Other people may like it, but for me, I'm not going to dig it. Okay. So let's go ahead and go into this learning from Starfield. We're going to watch the video and I'm going to try and watch as much as I can. We may go over a little bit. The video's 44 minutes long and we're at 3 hours and we're 42 minutes into the show. So I only got 42 minutes left, 43 minutes left for the show. So bear with me. I may stop the video from time to time, but I am going to read my notes to you. Okay. And tell you what it is. So let me say this. Let's talk about Starfield. It's a space RPG. It is not an MMO. Okay. One person playing the game. It's an RPG, role-playing game. One of the things that they talked about this game is that it has 1,000 planets, not systems. I keep hearing people talk about 1,000 1,000 systems, but it's planets, right? Moons, orbitals. Let's just say orbitals. Okay, so let's keep that within perspective. There's a shipyard, which looks really, really cool, where you can do modding, painting, and create a variety of different configurations for ships. There are NPC companions in the game. And there's another video that I'll try to find the link for and send you guys later because Todd Howard did a follow-up on Xbox X-State where he talks about the do's and things you can and cannot do in the game because some people he was, as to his own words, that people are kind of overhyping some of this stuff and coming up with stuff, and he wanted to kind of set the record straight. And you can do outpost building, which is really cool too. Okay, so I want to talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to talk about my likes and dislikes. I'm going to try to do this as we're watching it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the video because I want to get that going. Here we go.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to Bethesda Game Studios. You know, we've been so lucky over the decades to make the kind of games that we love here, and that's thanks to all of you, from the Elder Scrolls to Fallout, we love creating these worlds and playing in them just as much as you do. And throughout all that time, we'd often talk about and dream up the space game. What if we could take that feeling of being who you want to be and exploring a new world, but set it in space, where you weren't really limited in where you could go or what you could do? And that is Starfield. Obviously, we've come a long way since then with the games we've built, our technology, and all of us here in the studio. We've done so much together, but, well, we've never tried to make a game like this. Today, you'll get to hear from many on the team and see so much of what we think makes our game special. So let's jump in and take a look. Starfield is our first new universe in over 25 years, but it's still a Bethesda RPG through and through, where you step into a new world and you get that feeling of unlimited possibilities. But this time, it's not just one world. It's over 1,000 worlds. Because the choice of where to go, it's not ours, it's yours. And it wasn't until now that we had the technology to create it. From the rocks at your feet, to the mountains in the distance, to the people and creatures that live in these worlds. That isn't just a backdrop. That moon is actually there orbiting the planet. Yes, you can visit it too. We realistically simulate the galaxy around you. Our next-generation lighting model uses real-time global illumination to light the world based on the type of star and the makeup of the planet's atmosphere. We also have an all-new animation system. And of course, you can play it in third person, and you can play it in first person. We love exploration and rewarding it, but you do explore differently in this game given its scale. That usually involves exploring an area you've landed in. You can collect resources, do a mission, and maybe even stumble upon something unexpected.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here. Let me tell you some things that some concerns I have. One of them is something that, was it Cyberwolf? No, it was, someone may mention, it was, Corindian said this. Oh no, that wasn't Corindian. It was someone else who said it before Corindian. He mentioned about it being a console. Somebody mentioned about being a console first game. I don't know if it was console first. I think they did this simultaneously. I do have concerns about any time there's a game that comes out with both platforms. Usually, well, not usually, a lot of times one of them suffers, and usually it's the PC version. When I watched the demonstration of this, most of the gameplay that I watched when the devs are playing and stuff, they're on a controller. And so there was never a shot that I remember seeing them in this video where someone was playing the game and they were on a PC. So I do worry about what that layout is going to be, how much flexibility there will be for keystroke assignments, things of that nature. May not be a big deal, but you guys know anything that's been converted from console to PC, quite often there's a suffering there of controls. So I do worry about that just a little bit, but it may not be something to worry about. Third person perspective doesn't bother me that much because you can play first person, which most Bethesda games are always been that way. One of the things that this game still feels very reminiscent of Fallout in the sense of its visuals, even though it's in space. And some of you guys know what I mean. They use the Creation engine. This is Creation 2. It's a more improved version of it. But Bethesda games have their own stylized looks, like No Man's Sky. So I'm not putting anything against them with that, because there's some parts of the game that look very realistic, and there are other parts that kind of have that Bethesda look, especially when it comes to talking to characters and things of that nature. Now, the thing I don't like that happens here, I don't like this location identification thing that they do. They also do it with enemies. And what do I mean by that? When they arrived at this outpost, this thing pops up on the screen saying abandoned outpost. I don't want that level of hand holding. I want to go there and start exploring and figure out that it's an abandoned outpost. I don't want to, when I get there, you've already told me this is an abandoned outpost. CIG was kind of a little bit hesitant doing that kind of same thing with enemy identification too. I know that they put the markers in now. Yeah, it's helpful, but it didn't bother me that I had to stare at an enemy to see what color uniform he was wearing to determine whether he was a bad guy or not. I don't know if I want that level of hand-holding. I don't. And in this game, it may change later because this is not the final product. But right now, when there's an enemy, it'll say so-and-so pirate. It'll tell you that they're a bad guy. I don't necessarily want to see that in the game. So that's my personal thing. Okay, let's keep going here. And you guys can see the enemy tags whenever they lock. When he locks on, you see the tags on them.
We do love stuff and all of the items allowing you to pick everything up, and you can view all that in your data menu. This is the hub for everything you're doing, from your skills to your ship, your missions, and your inventory. We love to pack a ton of detail in every object, from all of your weapons to spacesuits to food. We just obsess over the details, and food. We obsess over food. When you're done exploring, you can walk back or fast travel to your ship. We have companions and crew you can take with you. I left Vasco here back at my ship.
Welcome back, Captain Howard.
And he can even say your name. Let's head out.
Okay, there's been a lot of questions about whether you can fly and take off, whether there's cinematics, and I think they've relayed to us that taking off and leaving and stuff will be an automated thing. It's not a big deal. Doesn't bother me. Again, but this is an RPG. It's Bethesda. They're not looking for that level of immersion that we would do in Star Citizen. There are a lot of things that are just cinematic, and that's cool because they want you to be focused in on the game, the realistic of the experience. They're not trying to get to a point where you've got to flip every switch manually, or, make sure you take off within a certain this, that, and the other. Now, there are some things that they do include in here, like gravity and other things, and atmosphere and types of environments that will be meaningful, but that does not bother me. For some people, it bothers them. For me, if you know Bethesda games, no big deal. Okay, no big deal.
Our mission was to convey the wonder and majesty of space exploration, to evoke the romance of the golden age of early spaceflight. And we've been referring to this approach as NASA Punk. This means a design language where the tech is advanced, yet still looks grounded and relatable.
For us, it's that contrast. That's where the visual interest is. Obviously the NASA, which is the rigid, hard function over style, and then Punk, which is all about style.
We stop there. They went with this whole idea, which I like, this whole NASA retro thing, which is this that's very cool. It's interesting though, because I remember when CIG was developing its ships, there was a lot of pushback from people saying, oh, their ships look too relatable to today. And Bethesda just now said themselves, they wanted to be able to create something that people still could identify with in their own way. It's not like the ships are so out there that they look so scientific-y. I just made up a word that we can't identify with it. And I know some people do want that extra looking, alien looking thing. And I'm nothing against that, but it's just interesting that Bethesda kind of went the same way to a certain degree when they designed their ships as well.
You can see that visual style coming through in your ship.
Oh, let me say this too. This is an engine, but I'm also concerned of like when he got out of the chair, was that a cinematic? I'm assuming it's similar to how CIG's is too. When you get in your chair, there's a cinematic that gets you in it. You don't physically go sit down and move your legs and stuff. So I'm assuming that's the case. But there's a lot of third person viewing in this presentation that bothered me. I wanted to see way more first person viewing, so it was from the perspective of the player. And I don't know if it's cinematics or whether they just went third person. So maybe you guys can tell me as you're watching it what you think. Was it are these things that were, anytime it's third person, is it because they went to third person mode, or because what they're doing at that moment is a cinematic?
Ship is your home for you and your crew. And like many of the spaces in our game, it has a slightly retro and analog touch, a bit of lo-fi rather than sci-fi, where everything is well used, worn, and lived in.
Alrighty, what's the plan, Captain?
This is your star map.
Yeah,
It
absolutely,
starts with the
Cyberwolf.
planet
It
you're
is
currently
difficult to
on.
tell.
You can see all of its info and resources. You can choose a
Now, this is one I had difficulty with, and I don't know if this is true. I love this idea of the orbital survey. I think it's really, really cool, but I also am concerned because Todd says you can see all of, and I don't know what the depth of exploration / scanning is. In other words, if I arrive at this particular, like if their universe is mapped out where we already know where all the planets are and stuff, and I get there, is it just when I click on it, it automatically tells me what the resources are, population and all that stuff? And if that's a part of the lore because those places have been explored and that's already there, that's cool. But if there's an exploration dynamic to it, for me, that says, how do I find out what the resources are and stuff? I'm curious if there's going to be a mechanic for me as a player to be able to do that, or whether or not that information is just going to automatically be provided. Again, if it's automatically provided, in a way it's great because it allows me to get into the game and the story much faster. But if I want a little bit more depth and I want to be able to scan planets and find out for myself, I may want that too. So I'm just curious about it. Again, it's not a negative or whatever. I'm just kind of curious as to where they're going to go with that.
landing spot or fast travel to known locations. Backing out further, you can view all the planets in the system. Obviously, the game is big, and it's here you can see planets that have key locations, missions, or life on them, versus the many planets that are barren but resource heavy. Zoom out even further to see all the systems in this part of the galaxy. Here, you can plot a course to ones that are light years away. This uses your ship's grav drive to fold space and jump to these systems, and you will need to upgrade your ship and skills if you want to jump to the most distant ones.
Now, there was something he said there which stuck with me too. He talked about if you want to jump to different locations, you'll have to update your drive, which nothing spooky about that. Those of you who played Elite Dangerous know that that was something you had to do. Star Citizen, our drives don't necessarily have to be updated to go a certain distance, but they do control things like the speed that you get there, right? And wear and tear and all that other stuff. But he also said your skills. And that's something that I'm kind of curious about. Again, Bethesda games do this all the time, skilling up. And this is going to become important because on the X version interview that he did, he talked about someone asked a question about, as a solo player, can I play this game solo? Can I play it without the companions? And he kind of said, yeah, you can, but you'll have to skill yourself up so that you can do all the things that maybe your companions were doing, which of course, for some people, they're cool with that. They want to do the whole game by themselves and they're willing to grind out those skills. But the fact that both hardware, such as the equipment you use, and your skills will be a factor of the length or how far your ship can travel is something that's a little bit different.
But for now, we'll plot a course to the Alpha Centauri system where we can find the city of New Atlantis.
Now, my thoughts are that those are all cinematics. The starting up the ship and everything is a cinematic, probably.
Welcome to UC Space. Maintain your current course while we scan your ship's cargo. Scan complete.
He did mention that if you have something illegal on your ship, when you're scanned, something will happen. So that's not just talk.
As soon as you land in a city like New Atlantis, your eyes are guided upwards to just these boundless, vast buildings.
It's the biggest city we've ever made, not just in size, but also in the amount of custom art, crowds, and quests.
So the main focus when we're designing a city is obviously what supports the story. We try and tell as many small stories as possible.
This is a Colony War memorial.
It's a few moments of gameplay that make the space feel like it's full of real characters that are going about their day-to-day lives.
It's paralyzing if you really stop and think about it.
Buddy, it's coffee.
It's also where your adventure with Constellation begins.
Okay, I don't know if any of you guys have already purchased Starfield. You can get the standalone game. I think it's $69. Then there's the game that's like the premium version, which is like $99. There's actually another version after that, which gives a steel book and a patch. And then there's the final version, which is $299, where you can get the watch that I just showed there, the real watch and whatnot in the game. Those things are sold out. They're gone. I looked just out of curiosity. I went to Walmart. I went to all of them. All that stuff's gone, but you can still get the game. Or you can go with Xbox. If you go with the Xbox exclusive, the game thing, Xbox gaming, and just pay for that. Now, that probably be the way that I'm probably going. I was going to purchase one of them, but I said maybe I'll go that route because for $70, $10 a month, that's 7 months of gameplay. And if I want to keep it going, then I'll buy it. If I don't want to, then I've gotten my gameplay out of it. But you can still get the game, but there's a pre-order, and you do get some extra stuff if you pre-order it. I could care less about getting it 5 days earlier. It's a single-player game. Yeah, okay, bragging rights that I'm playing it, maybe, but first of all, I never could care less about getting in the game early because you got to deal with bugs and stuff. It's an MMO. But anyway, just wanted to give you guys that background on the sense of the price for the game. Was there something else I wanted to talk about? No, okay, keep going.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about.
By the time you meet them, Constellation is sort of seen as this mythical group. Most people don't even know they exist anymore. They're the last true explorers in the galaxy, and they're trying to find the answers to some of humanity's biggest questions.
The artifacts are so different, so alien, and I'm certain one of them reached out and spoke to you. The artifact, if you could place it on the table here.
Oh my god, look at how it's coming together.
That means there's a set built by an intelligence outside the settled systems.
It's definitely an eclectic cast of characters. You've got Sarah Morgan, the ex-soldier and adventurer, now Constellation's leader. Mateo, the theologian who believes that there's definitely something else out there. Noel, the gifted scientist and Sarah Morgan's protege. And Walter, a very successful businessman in the settled systems and Constellation's financier.
Anything goes as long as you have the money.
There's also Vlad, the ex-pirate, Sam Coe, the former space cowboy, and Barrett.
You know what I hate about these pirates? Completely resistant to my otherwise irresistible charm.
The journey you take with Constellation is just the first of many you'll embark on. The Settled Systems is home to all kinds of different stories, people, and adventures for you to uncover.
The United Colonies is where you'll find New Atlantis, the first major human settlement in space. The people who live here value law, discipline, and the legacy of humanity. They consider themselves the true children of Earth.
You ever think of joining up with the Vanguard? Help the United Colonies, even get your UC citizenship?
New Atlantis isn't the only city within the United Colonies. The city of Cydonia on Mars to this day serves as the largest mining facility for the United Colonies. Beyond the United Colonies' reach, you might find yourself in a much more wild and independent coalition of star systems. This is Freestar Collective Space. The capital of the Freestar Collective is Aquila City.
The Stone Root Inn is an Aquila City fixture.
A ranger relies on judgment and intuition to do what's best for the people.
Neon started out as a fishing platform, but is now known throughout the settled systems as a pleasure city, where almost anything goes.
If you've got morality issues, this definitely isn't the job for you.
Ryujin is hiring the best and brightest of today for our future tomorrow.
Everyone has been chewed up and ground up by Neon. Try not to get yourself killed, all right?
Outside the bounds of civilized space, there are still plenty of unclaimed systems to explore, but these areas are also home to the most hostile factions in the galaxy.
The great serpent hungers. All heathens shall be made dust in time.
A new face. Is this the face of a brave runner here to challenge the Red Mile?
They think the galaxy is theirs. They are wrong. It belongs to the Crimson Fleet. It always has.
In Starfield, we're pushing our cities and settlements further than we ever have before. It's all there, waiting for you. A slice of humanity's future.
So, ready to get out there?
Throughout the galaxy, there are so many things to see and stories to experience. But the most important story is the one that you tell. I'm the type of person who spends hours in character creation, and I think people are going to be really excited when they see all of the improvements we've made.
One of the biggest overhauls was done through our character generation system. We scanned a wide range of faces from different age groups and ethnicities, and by mixing and matching all that data, we were able to create highly detailed and diverse characters.
We use that exact system to create all of the characters and NPCs you're going to see in the game. So any character you see almost always is a character you could make yourself.
Snap out of it.
Hey, come on. Okay, take it easy.
I want to stop there for a second about the character creator. When I first saw it, I thought it was really, really cool. I said, okay, this looks pretty nice. And by the way, I also like the fact that they polished the game a lot more. You guys remember when they did the first presentation, there was a lot of stuff that was kind of rough in it, and they polished a lot of stuff in here. But only thing about the character creator I'm not that crazy about is the character creator. And that's because, well, this is what I'll say. It goes beyond the physical attributes, right? What I do like about it is that it focuses in on your traits. And I think it's your traits and your skills, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. But physically, because it's a single player game, you know, if I'm playing an MMO, I do care even more about what people see when they stand in front of me, right? When I'm playing with other players. But if it's just me, I'm never really looking at my character other than maybe when the cinematics come up. I know there's some scenes where you get to meet some people, and I think there's some cinematics that take place then. So maybe that's when you'll get to see your character from a third person perspective. But otherwise, when you're playing the game, you don't really see yourself very much. Unless you're just doing 360s around yourself or something, maybe with a camera. And maybe that's it, because they do talk about later on that you can do screenshots and stuff. So I guess it will make a difference being able to deal with physicality. But to me, it means way more in an MMO than it does in an RPG.
You were out cold. No physical damage. Mentally, the jury's still out. You know who you are? New recruit for Argos Extractors? Ring any bells? Any of this look familiar?
You start your character creation journey as though you're cycling through employee records. You'll pick from a lineup of 40 presets, and that'll be your starting point.
Yeah, you're right, Kai. That's why I said the traits and stuff affect that.
As detailed or as quick as you want it to be. This new system has more to offer than ever before.
It's also the simplest character generation system we ever had. We let the player get as close as possible to make whatever they want. With the various facial morphs you can blend together, the dermesthetic and makeup, blemishes, scars, piercings, teeth settings. It's a lot, but I think it's the most fun to use.
Character creation is more than just how you look. This is also where you start to decide who you want to be. That's where backgrounds come in. Backgrounds give you a bit of backstory and start you out with 3 basic skills.
From chef to Dusty. You know, the crew still has a betting pool about which restaurant critic you must have crossed to wind up here.
What's great about backgrounds is you never know when yours is going to come in handy. You could be in the middle of a fancy restaurant talking to some guy, and suddenly you learn he needs a beast hunter to help track down a monster.
Fine. I probably should stick to professionals anyway, given what happened the last time.
We're also giving you the option to customize your build even further by letting you pick up to 3 traits. Traits are completely optional, and they come with their own advantages and disadvantages. You could choose to meet your biggest fan.
By Vectera! Is it really you?
He'll join your crew, and he'll give you gifts, if you're willing to put up with his constant commentary.
I can't believe I get to stand near you,
breathing the same air. I've got to have every molecule.
My favorite trait is kid stuff. You have to pay some credits to support your parents, but they're very sweet, and it's really fun to go visit them.
Honey, we got ourselves a visitor.
Oh my god!
I came across some hostile zealots in space, but because I had chosen a trait that made me the same religion as them, I was able to get by without any issues.
There's another great one that gives you a damage buff when your health is low, but mercenaries will randomly show up and try to kill you. No matter what you choose, there will be plenty of ways for you to tell your story. And if you want to remove a trait, there are ways to do that too.
What a view! It's a feast for the eyes. Off we go to another adventure.
We'll let you discover that on your own.
Now, I will say this. I love the variety of the looks, which is very cool. The outfits. I'm hoping that that's because those are outfits you can get in game. You know, like when you go to the different cities and stuff. I'm not trying to mirror Star Citizen. I'm just saying, I hope it's not us, you know, you put it on during the character creation and then you're stuck in that particular thing. But I'm assuming because you do have a flight suit, you saw people wearing things that were outdoor type clothes too. So I'm really thinking that's very cool. On the character trait thing too, he talked about the fact that you can remove your traits and stuff. You can change them. He said, but you'll have to figure that out in the game, which I think is really, really nice. And my last point is the part where they said you could pick up that thing where you can go visit your parents and stuff. I think that's pretty neat. But if I go to my parents' house and they're not black, I'm going to have some problems with this game. Okay, I'm letting you know that now. So let's keep going.
Once you've built the perfect character, that's when your journey can really begin. We took what we loved about skills and perks from our previous games and put them together to create an all-new skill system. Each time you level up, you get a skill point, which can be used to unlock or rank up skills. Ranks are unlocked by completing challenges associated with that skill. Challenges become increasingly difficult as you work your way to higher ranks. With our 5 different skill trees and 4 ranks per skill, there's a lot to choose from.
I like the Xenosociology skill because it lets you mind control aliens.
Boost pack out of the gate. I'm boost packing everywhere.
I like maxing out my physical tree so I can get neuro strikes and just punch my way through combat. That one's a lot of fun.
Invest in the skills that suit your playstyle.
I'm very much a stealth player, so I'm out there pickpocketing everyone. My favorite part about being stealthy is slowly creeping through vents like you're in a movie and then jumping out and springing on people.
Whenever possible, I like to talk my way through situations.
This area's off limits. Fine, I'll issue you an access card.
I'm more of a run and gun player. I like doing the death from above thing where I boost pack over guys and I throw landmines at them. I like blowing stuff up. Exploration is a key aspect of all our games. In Starfield, there are full star systems with new life, resources, and adventures. Our team worked hard to strike a balance between fun and realism. We studied data from NASA and a multitude of other sources to help us make the world feel believable. From the way we approached planetary atmospheres to the way we placed biomes based on the planet's distance from the sun. Once we had created a grounded world, we could start looking at all the things that make that world fun. When you leave a planet and head into space, You'll be navigating asteroid fields, having chance meetings with interesting strangers, dogfighting in space, and exploring derelict ships. It's all out there. Ultimately, it's about rewarding your curiosity, because whether it's on the surface of a planet, the alleys of a city, or the vastness of space, you never know what you'll find.
Okay, let me stop here because this is going to get into a heavier part. I'm going to put a video link in for you guys. This is the video that was put out also with the interview with Todd Howard after this presentation, where he kind of clarifies details of different things. It's called Todd Howard Answers Your Starfield Questions. And so when you guys get a chance to get that link, take a look at it. Fastcard will put it in again later, but it's on the sheet now, Fastcard. Take a look at it later because it will answer a lot of cool things about the game. You know, one thing about, I don't care what game developer you're talking to, CIG, Bethesda, whoever, you know, there's that person who's the spokesperson to help sell the game, right? To get you interested in it. And in today's days, the consumer wants that. We want to know what it is I'm paying $59, $69 for. What is it going to be like? So they give us these views. I thought that this presentation was done pretty well. They showed a little bit too much for me. It could have been 30 minutes long because there's some stuff in here I don't want to know. I'm one of those people that really wants things to unfold as I go through on the game. But I also, it's like watching a movie trailer, right? The movie trailer looks really good, but if it starts to look too good, you start to wonder whether they're showing you all the good parts, right? And so I'm hoping, if you guys remember a few years back, CIG did a vertical slice, but they told us it wasn't the big vertical slice, it was another one. They said this stuff that they showed us was just to show us the tech that scene was not going to be in the game. So I'm hoping that maybe they did a little bit of that in here for us too, so that we don't really kind of get too much of a lead on where they're going with the story. But that's, again, that's my personal preference. Let's go ahead and talk about this next part, because this is the part that a lot of people were really interested in, and that's the ship modifications and shipyard.
Space exploration is possible thanks to your ship. Your ship is almost like having another character or home you can make all your own. I think you'll be blown away by the amount of stuff you can do. You can buy a ship.
I'm sure you can find something you like.
Customize and upgrade that ship. And hire a crew to keep it up and running. And it all starts in spaceports. Every spaceport has a ship technician where you can purchase, sell, and modify ships.
Anything I can help you with?
Maybe you start off with a speedy fighter that's perfect for bounty hunting. Then you might round out your ship roster with a hulking space freighter to run cargo missions, or even do a little smuggling. For now, though, we're going to take our starting ship, the Frontier, and make some changes. You can customize and upgrade everything you see.
I'm going to stop there, and you can see there's a lot of modularity there in the ships. In the link that I just sent you, the question came up to Todd Howard about how deep is the modularity, right? Being able to modify your ships. And just to give you a little bit on that one, he said that doing modifications to the ships, tweaking them, is something that you can't do at the beginning of the game. It's not until you're much, much later. He says like an advanced level of being able to do it. Now you can swap out mods and stuff, but if you want to tweak things, you know, weapons, shield balancing, things of that nature, he says it's much later in the game before you can do that. So I'm telling you that so that you'll know that this is a game about progression. You can't just come in at the very beginning and do some certain things. In the beginning, it seems like what you're going to be doing is buying a ship the way it is. And as you build up over time, your skills and resources and money, then you can start to do that. He also says the exact same thing about bases, base building. That bases are the same way. In the beginning, you cannot do all these elaborate bases. It's going to be over a period of time that you can do that. Okay.
Here, and you have two ways to do that. You can quickly upgrade individual systems like your weapons or shields, or you can deep dive and enter the shipbuilder mode. Here you can change anything from the systems to the look and layout. Adding a new habitat module can give you more room for crew. Adding cowling can change your ship's overall silhouette. An improved grav drive allows for longer distance space jumps. You can even fully customize your paint job to get the exact look you want.
Like that, that's nice.
The parts you choose to build with don't just affect your ship's stats. They'll also affect what you can do inside your ship. You can have modules for crafting, or for storing and displaying your weapons. Starfield's in-game ship manufacturers bring their own look and feel to every piece of your ship. From living quarters, to cargo holds, mess halls, and control rooms. Our modified Frontier is a practical ship, but with a little creativity, your ship can look like almost anything you want.
It's a bit odd, but one of my favorite ways of customizing ships is I make them look like animals. The HMS Platypus, as I called it, where it had a giant tail to it. And we've done spiders, we've done mechs. So it's really whatever your imagination is.
And while you can build your home among the stars the way you want to, you're probably not the only person who will call your ship home.
Ready to lift off when you are, Captain.
Engines ready.
The Frontier is fueled and ready, Captain.
Some of the members of Constellation can join you on your journey. These companions can serve on your crew, and they'll always be there when you travel.
We'll be traveling together until we either find an artifact or this lead runs dry.
Each companion...
Now I want to stop there. I got a chance to look at this. Each companion has specialties that they deal with, okay? And so one of the things is going to be is putting people where they work best, right? So unfortunately, guys, this is so zoomed in, I can't read worth a lick. And astromechanics, that's what she's really, really good at. Botany, she only has 1 star. So, my questions are, will these characters evolve? If they do something, if they're low level in something, if you put them there anyway, will they get better as the game goes along? Or am I going to be restricted and they have to remain, like, if astrophysics is her thing, well, that's what she has to do in the game. And I'm also concerned about that from the perspective of me as a player, how I will have to be able to scale up if I decide not to take her, if I decide not to use her. It seems like the 6 main characters, I think it's either 4 or 6 main characters, they're the ones who do a lot of stuff. You can hire other NPCs, but it seems like their skill levels aren't as great as the main characters. So we'll have to see. But I'm going to try and stop on each one of these so you can see what their skills are.
And comes with their own.
So that's Sam, and he's good at piloting. Piloting is what he's really good at. But is that I can't tell what that bottom one says. Ecology? I can't read what that is. Guys, forgive me because my screen's so small. But he has a 1 star there, okay?
Valuable skills for your ships and outposts.
Same thing here. This guy's good at starship engineering. But then we have the gastronomy, cooking food. He ain't that great. I think that's what cooking food is, right? All right.
As well as unique quest lines. Eventually, some friendships might blossom into romance.
I don't know that I've ever really loved anyone except you.
And if
By the way, romance is only within those main characters. You can't do it with any NPC in the game.
you're looking for a little extra help on your ship, you can always hire additional crew at spaceports.
Got any room on your ship for someone like me?
You'll also meet potential crew members out in the world.
Still think there might be a spot for me on your ship? I gotta get off this rock.
Assign crew to your ship or outposts, and their unique skills will affect how they run. And just like companions, most crew members can lend a hand in the field. Take Bosco, for instance.
He's designed around the core basics of a NASA machine.
Please avoid getting shot. You might die.
I still wanted to give it almost a humanoid personality, so I elongated the limbs. This tends to make him feel more human-like and give him a little personality.
It is a shame exploration requires so much bloodshed.
Using the shipbuilding tools and crew selection features in Starfield, you'll be able to build and captain the ship of your dreams. And now, let's take to the sky.
We're putting you in the cockpit of your very own spaceship and telling you that you can do pretty much anything. And that is really cool for us as developers. Spaceflight should be exciting and dangerous, and you should feel like you're in complete control every step of the way. We've extended that sense of control to ship combat. It's not about just hitting your triggers to fire your weapons. It's a complex dance between your piloting skills and our power allocation system.
Okay, so this is familiar to all of us with Star Citizen, right? I mean, nothing new here. There is a balancing issue of whether you want more power to shields versus engines versus weapons. They do have something here with gravity, it says. I'm not sure what that is on the end. I'm assuming this is gravity, the gravity drive or gravity well. I'm not sure. There's missiles there and lasers there as well. So it'll be interesting to see. And you notice how they pulled this up as a, like how we would do our Moby glass. And I've been trying to figure out what the interactions are, the UI between the dashboard that we keep seeing, you know, him move his flip and switches. If there's real interaction there does seem to be real-time information. But then there's, if you notice on the HUD on the left, which I'm assuming because he has a helmet on, we're seeing the energy information in relation to the ship, or power information, how things are allocated. So I'm curious as to, you know, how do you manipulate this? Is it, again, with the controller? I keep seeing them using a controller to do this stuff. I'm really curious to see how this is going to work.
Boosting power to your engines will make your ship faster. Powering up the ground drives will shorten the amount of time it takes before you can make a jump. And moving your power to your weapons and shields means you're ready for a fight. You should always be on your toes because you're not alone out there.
I don't know how you guys feel about third-person combat in ships. I don't like it. That's just maybe a personal thing, but this is when it feels console-y to me. You know, even other games like Free Space, some other games we have on PC, I'm never that crazy about third-person perspective firing. Even though here they do go into the cockpit as well, but I don't know. It doesn't grab me. It starts to feel arcadey when I see this type of view. But thankfully, it's optional. If you don't want to be outside, you can be inside.
Unlocking the targeting control system skill will allow you to zero in on specific subsystems of the ship you target.
Now, here's something else here. He talks about you have to develop this skill, the targeting skill. In Star Citizen, I'm making my comparisons now, it's not a skill-based thing. It's a matter of just being able to do it and learning how to do it. But here, you literally have to do a skill tree to get to a point where you can target specific components or specific aspects of the ship that you want to disable. I like that view better.
After destroying an enemy ship, you can loot the remains from your cockpit. You can always turn any ship that engages you into...
Okay, so looting is done from the cockpit, and some of us have done that in other games. You just, you know, even in Star Citizen, when you're arena commander, you just fly over an area and you get it, right? But there's no EVAing per se to go get cargo and stuff. And it's fine, because for this type of game, this isn't what it's about, right? This is about the storyline and stuff.
Scrap. But you can also take a more personal approach by docking with the enemy vessel and boarding their ship.
I'm going to work off an assumption here. You can board ships and you can take the ships they talk about too. But I want to show you something, because my question was, if you board a ship, how do you take it? Do you leave your ship behind? But it seems like what happens when you dock with them is a docking collar. And when you get on the next ship, or maybe your own ship, you can just fly that ship to wherever you're going to go and leave it at a port.
After destroying an enemy ship, you can loot the remains from your cockpit. You can always turn any ship that engages you into scrap. But you can also take a more personal approach by docking with the enemy vessel and boarding their ship.
There, as you can see, there's a docking collar going from the bottom of one ship to the top of the other ship. Curious about the docking procedures. You know, again, I'm not trying to compare to Star Citizen, because Star Citizen, you know, you guys know Chris Roberts taking it to the nth degree. But I am curious about whether it's going to be an automated system once you've disabled. I'm sure it will be.
Once you've taken control of an enemy ship, it's yours. Add it to your fleet and retrieve it at any spaceport. But space is way more than fighting for your life. Just like when you're planetside, there are plenty of sights to see and stops to make on the way to your next adventure. Like these massive star yards. Walk the halls, talk to the crew, maybe get talked into buying a whole new ship.
A civilian in my star yard. Let's see about getting you a proper ship, one worthy of you.
Maybe you'll dock with a gigantic battleship, like the UC Vigilance. Or rub elbows with the galaxy's wealthy elite on a cruise ship fit for the stars. There are plenty of personal encounters to be had as well. You can hail any ship you come across to trade, swap info, or maybe even commit an act of piracy.
Let's do this.
When I'm playing, I generally go crazy. I definitely go like the more piracy routes. I want to take over ships. I'm going to board ships. I'm like, this is now mine. I steal all these sandwiches and put them, you know, in my cargo hold that I have specifically for sandwiches. I don't want to play the hero, but I want to go out and just start taking things from people as quickly as possible.
Some strangers might be looking for a little human connection in the darkness of space.
Hello, stranger. I just finished cooking up some food. If you want to come on over, just pop on by.
Some of the best moments are the ones you discover on your own. The thing I love most about Starfield is that it is a Bethesda game through and through. It's really about going to strange new places, meeting interesting people, and getting sidetracked on zany adventures. Then realizing 2 hours later that you're involved in a completely new story.
You're human. We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
That DNA is so present here. It's in our random encounters, it's in our handcrafted quests, and it feels so cool to play it and just make your own path in this universe. There are over 1,000 planets out there, just waiting for you to visit. We want you to feel like explorers, breaking ground on new planets, exploring every inch of a mostly untouched galaxy. We want you to feel hopeful. We want you to feel this sense of awe and wonder, and sometimes a little fear. We're giving you a massive playground and a ton of toys, and just setting you free.
Hey everybody, we were showing you so much stuff, but we thought we'd just
I'm gonna
take a little
skip past
break
this
and show you something.
I'm going to skip past the stuff because we talked about this already with the watch and all that and the Xbox stuff. Let's pick it up from here.
Freedom to experience both the exciting planets and the quiet ones. Scanning a planet before you land is a great way to get a sneak peek at the available resources you can use for crafting, building, and customizing.
Okay, so it seems like there is a process of scanning, that it may not be just as simple as you just click on the planet and it comes up. But then again, it could be scanning a planet just means going into this mode, clicking on it, and all the information comes up. So I'm curious to see how elaborate it is.
I think what's cool about this whole system that we generate the planet itself as a procedural content, but the handcrafted content itself comes as the player explore.
Our system builds a planet as the player approaches it. We stitch together a block of terrain. After that, we have the system that adds interesting locations for the player to explore, creatures to encounter, or plants to pick up.
One of the things I'm not crazy about, and I mentioned this earlier about location tags, that I'd rather find out about location tags when I get there and let me figure it out. Let me walk inside the building and see that it says something, something science station. Oh, it's an abandoned science station. I don't need you to tell me before I get there. Same thing with the enemies. I don't want to know that this is a Red Crimson pirate. I want to be able to look at them and determine from their actions or their movement or maybe where I'm at that possibly this is a Red Crimson. Maybe he's got a Red Crimson suit on. That's how I figure it out. But also I'm worried about what's the creatures, because they have this thing now when creatures come up, they tell you whether or not a creature is aggressive or not. And I don't want to know that either. I want to find out from the experience. I want to be able to observe it, watch it. Maybe there's something I'm talking to somebody else at some other location who tells me at this planet, be careful because of the blah, 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 blah. Or because of the encounter that I have, I'd find out this creature's passive or this one's aggressive. So a little bit of that hand holding, I don't like, but that's me personally.
It allows us to add that touch of environmental storytelling that Bethesda is known for.
Aggressive creatures have been disrupting our experiments. Their habitat isn't far from here. If you could take care of them for us, we would be in your debt.
So even if your friends were to visit the same planet that you had, you would have a different story to tell.
There's something else that happens in this presentation, and I'm curious to know what you guys think of this too. You can put it in chat for me. If you notice, you never see the player, us, the person who's watching, you never see us die. You never see us take injuries. You never see them doing like a med pen type thing to heal themselves. They're always killing the AI, even though the AI is shooting at them. Now, maybe they're in God mode. Okay, I get it for presentation's sake. But I would have liked to see an impact of what happens in a combat FPS when I'm getting hit. Whether I have to hide, whether I have to break out something to give myself a shot of something or whatever to restore my health. Because the AI here, either they're blind or he's in God mode or she's in God mode, whatever the case may be. But I want to see a little bit more of what really happens in the game.
It's completely up to you how you want to interact with each planet. Whether you want to explore and see what you can find.
Yeah, well, Gleason, yeah, I get it. They may want to show some stuff in the game, but don't present a game that's not real. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to show off good stuff. I never saw anybody hit him. Nobody physically meleeed him, or he never took a bullet and fell backwards. I want to see that part of the game so that I realize that's what's there. Because I can't tell whether those enemies are really tough or not, or whether they're weak based on the presentation,
Harvest resources and be on your way? Or simply take in the views? With the help of your scanner, you'll chart the uncharted and discover exotic wildlife.
If you have the skills, you can even figure out that certain creatures and plants, you can build an outpost and produce resources from those plants and animals. You can get experience and rewards for fully surveying planets and fully surveying a whole system.
When we were concepting these creatures, we really wanted to think of them as natural to the environment. We didn't want alien monsters. We wanted native wildlife. Something you've never seen before.
I love their creatures. Creatures look great.
When it comes to our exteriors, when the sun moves, all that light is calculated in real time through the atmosphere. Our biggest goal for lighting with Starfield was to make the game feel more filmic, to use lighting and color to really make it feel more cinematic.
The game looks beautiful. I know some people may not like it, but for Bethesda stuff, this thing is great. When I heard they were just enhancing the creation engine, I wasn't that crazy about it. But the more I see this, it looks really good. It has its Bethesda look to it. Some people barked about the whole frame rate thing. You know, they're keeping it at 30 frames, but they said in order for the game's performance to be equaled out across no matter where you are in the game, 30 frames work. If they went to 60, they might have some problems, especially with dealing with console. So yeah, it'd be great to be at 60. In the video I sent you guys, Chris, he talks about that. Also, there's a great video that was put out by Digital Foundry where they go into great detail about this game performing at 30 frames versus whatever, because there was a lot of questions about the game being at 30 frames, but it's going to work, guys. If you play Bethesda stuff, it'll work.
After some exploring, you can find a spot to set up a base camp. Outposts can be built almost anywhere on any planet. And the habitat modules come in all shapes and sizes, filling all different purposes. You can even live in them. Assign crew and companions to work at your outposts for added bonuses and set up extractors to harvest resources while you're away.
Something cool we have this time is we have a new fly cam where you can toggle between on-foot building, or you can now use a top-down isometric camera, which helps plan out larger parts of the outpost and placing those larger halves. So that way you can really plan your structures and what the overall feel of your outpost is. And then when you're on your feet, you can really decorate and fine-tune things much easier.
I am curious about outposts in the sense of their durability. Are they impacted by weather? Because a lot of these places you see, they're very beautiful in the sense of the windows and everything. But I'm curious as to whether or not that's a good thing or bad thing. Putting the right type of outpost at the right type of planet based upon, I don't know, seismic activity, weather, whatever the case may be, whether those will be factors in it, or whether that's just good old titanium glass that Scotty made that no matter where you are, you don't have to worry about it. But I am curious about it. But I love the designs that they have here and the variety of stuff that they're offering.
Add crafting and research stations in your outpost to utilize any resources you find or already have.
Mod your weapons to adapt them to your playstyle. Different weapon sights and scopes, larger magazines, a selection of grips and barrels, different ammunition like explosive rounds. All you stealth players out there will surely need a suppressor. You can also choose to go hands-on with melee weapons.
I think it's always a delicate balance between like what's realistic, what's sim, and what's Hollywood. And I think we sort of err on the side of like what's fun for the player.
With Starfield, we've completely overhauled our combat. It's more dynamic, the animations are more fluid. It just feels great.
We probably have more mods and more weapons in this game than I want to say any other game we've done before. There's a lot of variety.
Upgraded gear is just one of the many factors to pay attention to when engaging in combat. You may need to switch things up based on your environment. Gravity is different for each planet, and boost packs are excellent for getting around. And for giving you an edge in combat. Sometimes you'll even feel like you're flying. Zero-gravity environments pose a different challenge. Firing a ballistic weapon in zero-G will actually push you backwards.
I love that.
Energy weapons, on the other hand, offer a more stable shooting experience.
We also have mag weapons. These are high-powered electromagnetic induction ballistic arrays. Each barrel has its own targeting laser and can dish out some serious damage. Whether you want to get up close and personal with your own two fists, or you like more compact weapons like pistols and submachine guns, or maybe you prefer something bigger.
Now, let me say this. I love the variety of weapons they have in here, and the modularity is so cool. What I don't like, and I think if I'm remembering correctly in Fallout, you could do this. I don't like the fact that, that you can skill up to such a point where you could take a knife and kill a creature that's 16 feet tall. I'm sorry. I never have liked that. I don't think you should be able to skill up to a point where your melee capability is so good that you can punch something that's 16 feet tall and basically beat it. I think that there should be some type of parameter that says after a certain point, you need to have something of this level or more to take this thing out. That's just me personally. I get the idea of being able to level up some things, but some stuff should be able to cap off at a certain point.
Starfield's got you covered.
Yeah, I agree, Zombie Pig. If it was co-op, it'd be great. Okay, before we see this last part, and this is what I mean by people showing too much in their trailer. I agree, Zombie Pig, if this was a multiplayer or co-op game, it would be so awesome to play this with friends, right? But we all know, as Star Citizen people know, that to make a multiplayer game on this scale, it'd be a few more years in the development process, because doing it as a standalone is one thing, doing it as an MMO or a co-op game, whole nother thing. This is the thing that I hate, is this last scene. A lot of people were just like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And I was like, why did you show that? But that's just me. It's okay. Not this part. It's coming up. I still feel like they're showing too much. This part here. All right, so tell me if I'm wrong. Wouldn't it have been so much cooler? Wow, thank you, Cyberwolf. Appreciate that 10 months. Thank you. Yeah, I know, Fast Car. Wouldn't it have been so cool to find out that that existed in the game on your own? Why show that? You don't have to show that. Stop showing everything. I know you say it would have been known, but here, or you said it would have been. Yeah, I just wish that they had left that, so that would be like the thing. Once you got to a certain level, you found out you had that ability. Showing too much, Bethesda. And I know you're trying to sell the game, but you don't have to do that. You've sold us.
Thanks again for being with us today. We are just so grateful that you've taken the time and spent it here. I know there was probably a lot to take in. There's a lot to the game.
Yeah, Gladestone, I got to pick on my buddy. Gladestone, the universe is large. 1,000 planets, much cooler things. I don't know, dude. Hopefully there is. Hopefully that kinetic thing, there's something bigger. And you might be right. Maybe there is something that goes beyond that. But they saved it for the end, which kind of puts it as like, this is the thing that you ultimately want to be able to do. And I'm like, why'd y'all show that? Anyway, it's probably an inch deep. I don't know, Rastasan. All right, I'm going to, you know what? We are over time. I'm going to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes. Okay, because then I need 2 minutes after that. If anybody wants to come in and give me their thoughts, this is the time. You guys can click on the link and come in. If you don't want to share anything, and a lot of you guys have already seen this stuff, it's nothing new, then I get it. No big deal. You don't have to come in. But if you want to come in and give me just very quickly your thoughts about Starfield, what we saw, even my opinions, if you think what I said was crazy, feel free to come in and tell me that. I won't be mad at you if you feel differently about it. But let's go ahead and do that real quick. I don't think there's anybody here, which means I can, let me see, hang on. Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? Oh, there it is. Jeez, oh Pete, close that. Okay, I've got Fist to Face. Fist wants to come in. Fist, you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take the first jump.
Okay.
First leap. Okay, so real quick, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. You know, you kind of want some, you know, some word is eluding me. Sorry about that. You want to discover things on your own. Now, with that being said, you know, going back to your very first point about when you saw the things coming up, I think though, like, you know, like you went to a location and showed you, maybe there might be a hardcore mode for you. You know,
well, I'm not saying hardcore. Okay, to your point, maybe you could turn it off, right? Maybe there's an option that says don't show
notifications,
tags,
stuff like that in your HUD. Yeah,
and if that's the case, then God bless them. I love it. You give the player the option, right? Because maybe some people don't want to have to do all the figuring out.
It's possible.
I'm just looking at the pattern in the gaming industry of hand holding. You know what I mean? I'm hoping
And
they're not doing that.
I want to touch on that because I kind of I get what you're saying, because I kind of think that the way when you looked at it, you know, when you talked about that specific feature, because I seen that in Icarus, like, you know, where it's like it's a they look at it as that type of feature is hardcore mode. And that's why I was kind of thinking like, well, Griff might want to think about hardcore mode, because that's what they think. You know,
Well, ain't me
like
thinking about it. They better think about it. I mean, I get it. I hear you. Maybe that is the case. Maybe there is that. That's what brings it about. But even if it's hardcore, I'd rather it not be hardcore mode, because hardcore mode usually means everything becomes much more difficult, right?
Exactly.
I'm just saying I'd rather it be like you said, a toggle under options that says, you know, hints or no hints. And if that's what it is, to your point, if that's what it is, then I'm a happy camper. You know, I'm a happy camper. I'm just saying, I've noticed in the industry, there's this tendency now that becomes the default, especially when you're coming off of a console. But then again, maybe they thought of it.
I get it.
Maybe they thought
I
of
get
it.
My last point is for the part where you talked about with I think it's the kinetic power. You know, because I was talking with Melvillus and we watched this when it first was airing, and he said, "Man, I'm going straight for that power." And he didn't care about anything else in the game. And I said, "All right, well, you go ahead and bump your head on that one, because if you look at the way the game is structured, you got to go through
progression. It's a progression,
right? It's progression." And I was like, "Okay, I mean, this is cool." Yeah. Now, to your point about showing it off, I kind of feel like there's something else in there.
Hopefully it is. To Gladestone's point, you know, maybe you know it maybe it's not, you know, the in-game thing that you're looking to do. Maybe maybe there's something even more beyond that later on. But even then, I hated that they still showed it, because everything else was based around weapons and melee. You know, now y'all took it to the freaking
go big or go home.
Yeah,
though.
I know.
Felt like they had.
But I was sold without it. I was sold without it. You know, I was sold without it. Okay, thank you, buddy.
All right,
appreciate that. Good comments. All right, let me bring in Admiral Kusanagi. Admiral Kusanagi.
Oh, so I'm here. I played Fallout 4. I think I played Fallout 3, and they were very good games.
Yeah.
And the modability of those games, I think, the mod community is just huge sense. So I imagine they'll go to town as soon as they can with this game. But I mean, one thing I was wondering if they're going to have like fast travel in this.
There is fast travel. I didn't talk about it, but that was one of the likes and dislikes that I had in the game. For this type of game, fast travel is great, because you don't need to have that, you know, sitting around like in Star Citizen, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 6 minutes, going from here to there. There is a fast travel mode in the game, which is, like I said, for this game, no problem.
I'm sure you have to get there first so you can discover the location and stuff like that.
Or unless it's already mapped out for some reason, story-wise, right? There may be some places right off the bat you can go from here to there. You don't have to try to figure out, because that star map they showed us, we don't know how expansive that's going to be and how does that open up as you go. You know, we just don't know, because it's not like the systems aren't known in this game. There's a lot of systems that are known about.
Then I just question like how like all the I mean, I guess the game, the way Fallout 4 is, you have like the skills. You could if you won lead, I think it was called lead belly, so you could drink irradiated water and be okay and stuff like that. So I imagine they're going the same route. And then I just wonder how, like, if you choose this path, how do you kind of split it up and do like extra stuff? I mean, like, I don't want to be like, just locked into one thing. I guess I don't know.
That was one of the
interesting. It's RPG, I guess.
They did mention about the fact that, and you noticed from Fallout, right, and other games, where they said that you go start doing one thing, and then 2 hours later you realize I'm not even on the main storyline anymore. I'm doing something else, right? And the question becomes, one of the difficulties in games now. Again, the video Fast Card, you put that link back in again that I posted earlier. The second video that Todd Howard does. There's a difficulty in the gaming industry, not just this game, but any game, when it comes to how do you create so that it doesn't feel like everything's a fetch mission. You know what I mean? You run into this character, oh, I need you to go get 8 pears from over here and bring it back to me. We get kind of bored with that. What do you create for those side missions that either fold into the main mission, which is one of the things I used to like about ESO, is some of the side missions actually folded into the main storyline if you took them. Or some things stand independent on their own. They do talk about the fact that you're not so linear in this game that you have to continue to do. There's obviously a main storyline, but they also said that it will be different for every player depending on how they approach things, even the locations. If you and I go to this same planet, because of the procedural generation aspects of it and some other things, we may not have the same experiences completely on that, which is great. So I can't say, Admiral, when you get to Social Planet, what do you need to do to get through it? It may be entirely different for me because of the path that I've taken in the game or the skills that I've built. So I think this game, like Fallout and other games, will have a lot of playability to it. There may be some people who come to this game with the attitude of, let me see if I can speed run it. I don't think this is a speed running game. I think it's going to be a game, they're going to get a lot of hours out of it. I think people are going to feel that the money was well spent. You may get 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000 hours out of this game when it's all said and done to go through everything in it. And I'm hoping this is the game that it is, especially.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people kind of want. And also, to be able, I was talking to somebody else about, Star Citizen even, like, I want to be able to just pull a Han Solo and just not have to wear a spacesuit all the time. I just kind of like want to walk out of my ship and talk to people and then get back in my ship and then leave without feeling my ship is gonna someone's gonna open the door or something.
Yeah,
I want to feel safe out there. So yeah, okay. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's beautiful, environment. I'm not a fan of that giant droid thing. It looks a little wonky to me.
You like the retro look they went with.
The worst thing I don't like about it is it looks too wonky.
Yeah, it's an interesting design they came up with. We'll see how it goes. Bosco. All right, buddy. Thank you. All right, and last but not least, we'll bring in Fast Cart. FCE.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say, you say this doesn't look like it's a speed game run. To someone, every game is a speed run game. So, yeah.
No. They could try to do it. I'm saying I don't think you can. I don't think that I mean, you could try. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody can always go back later on and say, oh, I finished the game in 20 hours.
Yeah, that's what they count as a speed run game. So people can try it and maybe turn like a 40-hour game into like a 10-hour game or something like that.
I don't think they're Fast Cart, I'll be honest with you. You can always do it. But what I'm saying is it's not. Do you remember when they did No Man's Sky?
Yeah.
People were trying to get to the center of the universe very quickly, right? And there was a way to do it. And anybody can always brag about how long it took them to do it. But I think that this game is designed so that you're not trying to speed run through it. First of all, there's dialogue and stuff, right? I mean, it's not a matter of just doing certain tasks.
And people who skip cutscenes, so yeah.
Yeah, but in this game, I think if you miss cutscenes or dialogue, you ain't gonna get there. Because the dialogue and the progression is a part of learning the story. So if you don't know where you're going and listen to somebody who tells you what to do next, yeah, I mean, you can speed run, but I don't know. I guess
Griffin, you're forgetting people who use YouTube and guides and walkthroughs to get through the game. They don't need to watch. Yeah,
but how much hours are you gonna spend doing the reading and watching the videos and stuff? I hear what you're saying, Fast Cart. People will always try to do it, but. Right. There's some games that are just kind of like you can speed run through them because the way they're designed, And I'm saying I think this game is going to be
Yeah, I mean,
difficult.
I agree with you. This game is not designed to be speedrun, but I'm just saying I think people will try it anyway.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to bring up is that forest or biotic or engineering effect that you saw, that drew me into the game, because if it was straight FPS, I suck at FPS because it's helping to aim with a mouse and I'm trying to use the keyboard. So I played Mass Effect as a biotic because my aiming didn't have to be precise.
Right.
You know, so I'm looking forward to using whatever that power was. But I'm guessing it'll be a long cooldown to unless you have a skill tree and you can and you can build up the increase the speed or how often you can use it. But I'm looking forward to I'm hoping for something more Mass Effect and less FPS. But we'll see how that goes.
Let me say this: I'm playing Outer Worlds right now, and the thing that they didn't show in this presentation, even though they said it, was that you could have your companions with you. And every time they were doing combat in here, they were doing it solo. So even if you're able to bring your NPC companions with you, because like in Outer World, I can tell my NPC when to attack, how aggressive to be, or how to be behind me. So that gives me help. There have been plenty of battles in Outer Worlds where my NPC was taking the brunt of the punishment while I was able to stay back ranged. You know what I'm saying? So if you're
that's how I was in Mass Effect too. At least for me. That's
exactly.
Because my companions were much better shot than I was.
Exactly, and that's my point. So, but in the demonstration, they never showed us that. So you know, maybe that's because they haven't got there yet. I don't know. They should be in the polish mode at this point. The game's coming out in September, so it ain't like they still working on AI. You know what I mean? So let's just hope that will be something to help people like yourself, for people who aren't that great at NPS or FPS rather, that their companions will be able to take some of that pressure off of them, you know, because the kinetic thing, that ain't gonna come till later in the game, guaranteed. That's gonna be much later, even if it's not in game.
To that point. No,
maybe that's the thing to do. Okay, all right. So why don't you go ahead?
One last thing I want to say. If I do get this game, this will probably be my second Bethesda game. Because I bought Oblivion, but I didn't play it much because it was too open world. I didn't know where I was supposed to go.
You get lost,
so I'm not used to something like that. I am now closer to it now, but back then I was like, no, I don't know. There's no quest holder, there's no quest mark. What am I supposed to do?
No, I understand. You know, it can't in these big world games like that. You can get lost in them. That's not, and the problem is when you get lost, you also start getting disinterested, right? So there is some benefit to when games are somewhat more linear versus when the games are just so big that you literally get lost in the world. So, and I remember doing Skyrim. That was one of the games that I felt that way. I kept playing it, but oh my God, the world was so big, you know? But anyway, okay, well, listen, thank you. I'm glad you guys sat through this with me. I'm sorry I tortured you a little bit longer today. Conversations ran a little bit longer, but I wanted to give you some feedback because people have been asking me, what do you think about Starfield, Griff? And I wanted to say, well, this is what I think about it. Fastcar, why don't you stay with me for a minute because we can close out together here. Yeah. Let's talk about what we've got coming up. Tomorrow, we are doing, today's Saturday, right? Yeah, we're going to be doing a show called, you know, from the trip, I still can't get my days. I can't get my days together. We're going to be doing CNN, Citizen News Nerds. We are going to be talking to some of the community backers and members that you guys know who present news to the community. They basically digest what CIG has put out and bring it more concisely or give different insights and even share their opinions about where the development of Star Citizen and Squadron 42 are. We've got scheduled so far. We've got the Nubifier is going to be on with us and Nakara from Relay. They're both going to be here to talk about how they develop the idea of news and presenting news to the community, what the hurdles are, why they do it, and even feedback that they've gotten from doing it in the community. We were trying to get a couple more people. I don't know if we're going to get a last minute person, but if not, Nubifier and Nakar will be great because they both have been doing this for quite a while, as you guys know. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us tomorrow for that. Once again, we've been doing the St. Jude Play Live charity fundraising. Thank you guys so much. You guys have got us at $885. We're only $115 away from our next goal of $1,000, which I'm sure we'll get probably by tomorrow. And we'll be doing our next level giveaway, which will be the Chairman's Club package. We'll be giving away that to a lucky winner for that. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that. So thank you for those of you who contributed to that. Those of you who subscribed today and followed today, thank you guys as well. Who was it I saw earlier that gave us 400 bits? I can't remember who it was, and I meant to give them a shout out. What else am I looking for here? Where's my?
It came up, but I don't remember.
You know what? I can't. I hate when I can't find my mouse. I've got, running these two screens and jumping between the two of them drives me crazy. Let me see who it was who gave us those 400 bits earlier. It was. I can't find it now, but I know 400 bits came up. Oh, it's Chooch. Chooch, good to see you. That was 2 hours ago. Thank you, Chooch. I haven't talked to him in a little bit. I know you sent me a text message earlier. I'm going to respond to you in a little bit, but thank you for those 400 bits. And thank you for everybody who came in and dropped in and talked to us today. MT Stunner dropped in, Pop's Fist. Thank you to Kai Zen who came in, Admiral Kusanagi, Fast Card. Thank you guys so much for giving your thoughts on the show. And I think we are done. Who have we got to raid today, Fast Cart?
Subliminal.
Subliminal
TV is live.
All right, Subliminal. All right, guys, we are going to do a raid to Subliminal. Let me put the word raid in and put his name in. Thank you guys again for joining us. Thank you again for all the support for our charity for St. Jude's Play Live. And hopefully we'll see you guys on tomorrow evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Don't forget. Go ahead. You already started, but we're doing a Bar Citizen on July 15th. So check out Discord for info.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, we got it in our Discord. We'll make sure we put it up for the show tomorrow, July 15th. Virtual Bar Citizens coming up again, so we can start getting ready for the big Star Citizen in the fall. So, Fast Cart, thank you again for being here. Thank you guys as always, and until we see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Peace, love, and soul. Have a great weekend. Bye.